You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Hey folks, welcome to the Thursday night Beans and Dice live call-in show. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
And we got DJ horns everywhere tonight. Go DJ.
Don't have to go manual.
That is my DJ.
Mike's got a whole soundboard set up for you tonight, Carlos. You never know when things are going to pop up.
You know me, I like the soundboards. Rob's not a fan. I am soundboard fan.
If it's lightly peppered in there, I just don't want to go crazy with it.
You can't go overboard with it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm like adobo. I'm like putting it on everything.
Pour it on everything.
It goes on everything.
You're like Funk Master Flex, everything. Bah, bah, bah.
I want it all. Remix. Well, folks, this is a board game podcast show where Thursday nights we record our podcast, which is effectively a call-in show. We take your calls to talk about board games, what you've been up to, gaming-wise, what we've been up to, all that fun stuff. Tonight, part of the plan is for us to update our top 20 boards.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a little while, which makes me sad because I forgot how stressful this is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know what I'm adding,
It's an operation.
but then I'm looking at the bottom of the board saying, well, if I add these games, these are dropping off.
Yeah,
That shouldn't matter, man. That should not
That's like-
play any part in this.
But that's the fun part. The stress is fun, right?
But it does matter.
Oh, yeah, it's fun. I
It
enjoy it.
does matter.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's a nice
Makes me
little
want to play those other games more then.
little exercise. Yeah. So as we do every Thursday night, recently at least, we are doing our Jerry, go Jim. I know Jim was begging for the update of the top 20, but about the first 30 minutes of the show, we're going to kind of prime the pump a little bit. We're going to throw a few things out there that we've been hearing, been doing, whatever, just a few topics. After 9:30, we'll open those phone lines. Of course, don't be afraid to interrupt us. Doesn't matter what we're talking about. Call in after 9:30 when we open those phone lines, and then tell us about what you've been doing, what you've been playing, what you've been up to, what news you've been hearing. Ask questions if we've heard anything about something. That's what we're here for. We just want to chat about whatever you want to talk about, and you take over the show for about roughly 10 minutes and just kind of talk about whatever you want to do. So.
At that point, on that note, bye, Arby.
Bye, Arby.
We'll see you later. Thanks for dropping him off.
My son's heading out.
His boy dropped him off, so I'm like, perfect. We got Rob tonight. For this segment of the show, I tend to go to the news articles that we find in the Discord chat. So folks at home, this is a plug for the Discord. If there's a topic that interests you, there is a channel called In the News. In the News is a place where you can drop articles or any gossip, any goodness that you found interesting that you want to talk about. But I'll start off with the rest of y'all. Any of y'all have any topics, any news events that you want to talk about specifically?
I think everything I would talk about is dropped in the news and Discord.
Yeah, I was gonna say if we're gonna go through the Discord, I think what I had was all in there also, so we can hit it as we pull that up.
Shohei Ohtani? That's what we're talking about?
Oh yeah, Ohtani,
Baseball.
deal.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Crazy.
All right, somebody pick an article and run with it. If not, I'm going with it.
Your show, you start.
Okay, I'll start. Lord of the Rings. I thought that was interesting because of all the Lord of the Rings fans we have. The Lord of the Rings new movie that's coming out, set in the Rohinian.
Rohirrim.
Rohirrim.
Okay, there you go.
There we go.
Those are like the people from Rohan. Or
Somebody
Rohirrim.
knows.
That's the
Rohirrim?
horse soldiers. Yeah.
Yes. Interesting, especially with the War of the Ring card game having recently come out. I can see this sparking a lot more expansions and more fun, more lore, just more Lord of the Rings goodness. And since I've been playing a lot of Lord of the Rings, let me say that again. I've been losing a lot of Lord of the Rings, the card game.
Playing, yeah, using that term loosely.
And then playing the Lord of the Rings Adventure to Mount Doom in order to make myself feel better about the Lord of the Rings that I can actually win. This was an interesting article to me. Anybody know anything else about this update? It says anime style, and I'm worried that it's going to be
It's
an
not live
animated
action.
film.
It's animated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah, I'd have to see it. I'll reserve judgment.
I don't know. I'm just happy. I'm just happy there's more Lord of the Rings.
Yep. I mean, Rings of Power was okay. I thought it got better as the season went on. We know there'll be more of that. So then there's this, and yeah. And actually, I'm gonna plug and shout out. The War of the Ring, the card game. I now own a copy of it. which hopefully over this Christmas holiday we'll get a chance to play it. I want to thank the Board Game Rundown folks, Tim and Mike. They sent that to me as a thanks for showing up on their show a couple weeks ago. But
which one? Lord of the Rings, the card game?
No, the
War
of the Ring, the War of the Ring, the card game.
I still want to play that. I know Rob had a chance to play it. I have
that's what
not.
I'm saying. That
It's really good.
I have a copy now. After tomorrow, for about 2 hours, I'm working tomorrow, and then I'm done till January. So let's figure out a time and let's get that game played.
Make it
in the
happen.
next couple weeks. Yeah,
I
really want to play that game.
Even if it's like
Can it play
breakfast.
3-player? You really need 4.
You really need 4. You can play two-handed as one, but it's it's a
So
different
maybe-
experience.
Does it play
We
two?
played 4. I think you can. I think you can play two-handed, but it's really meant to play a 4-player game.
So we need a fourth.
We
Yeah.
can get a 4th. We get Jim or get Nick or somebody. Get
William,
together
you think
and-
William would make it? I mean,
William?
he knows the game.
William?
Yeah, William
Oh,
knows the
true.
game.
There you
He
go.
knows it, so-
Yeah. I mean,
I will
didn't
reach
know-
out.
He has a baby, so I didn't know how busy he is still. So
Yeah, see if he can make it.
yeah, let's do
I'm
it.
sure he gets a little fun time. I hope.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, I'm putting that on my to-do list here. To do War of the Rings, check with William. All right. So that's the article, and that's why I'm happy about it, because it just makes me want to play more Lord of the Rings board games.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yep.
One of the, if we're moving on to another topic, one of the things that I found to be really interesting, this has kind of been all over the place, especially if you've seen Dice Tower and the stuff they're doing this week. But one of the big announcements that just came out is this new, it's a publisher, I guess is the official term here, the Play2Z group, where they have put together some pretty heavy hitters in the industry to form this new publishing group. And so it's started by, I guess, fitting for the Z is Zev Schlesinger. He is kind of running this thing. This is a new publishing company he set up, and he got a lot of big name, I guess, donors that are going to be on the board. Some big names: Stephen Bonacore, from what I understand, is going to be the chairman of the board. Jeff Epstein, another big name. I mean, there's what about
Engelstein?
Engelstein? What did I say? Eggstein? Engelstein, of course.
Jeff Engelstein.
Yeah, Tim Medivere. I know that
Medivere,
name.
Yep.
Yep.
He runs Dice Tower West and owns that giant Meepleville
Collection.
cafe. Yep.
Yeah, that big collection of games. So, I mean, there's just I'm just looking at the list. There's about 10 people that are going to be on the board or who have invested in this company, and it'll be really interesting to see what they come up with, what they do. I know they had picked up one title. I'm looking through here trying to figure out if it was in this article, which title they are redoing.
So yeah, it's what's interesting is WizKids is actually getting out of
Right.
board games.
What?
And the they're
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
they're down to the
That's
last-
a news.
their
That's a
last
whole
couple
different
games.
article.
Yeah, I think they said on Dice Tower today that they've got like
Yep.
2 more games in the pipeline, and then
That's
they're
it.
done.
And then the first game that this company is doing is a game that was a WizKids game, and they've picked it up because WizKids is not going to do it, and so Zev got the rights to do it. So yeah, WizKids is basically done with board games. They're just kind of probably focus on the miniatures, the Hero Clicks and Mage Knight and all those other various things. So
Ascending Empires, I think it was. Here, Ascending Empires was a 2011 release from Z-Man Games, and I think it had when Z-Man went out of business, which was Zev's original company. He built that.
well,
Z-Man
they
Games.
sold.
He sold it.
Sold it
to
that's right.
WizKids.
To WizKids, right? And so that's how this Ascending Empire switched from Z-Man to WizKids. So they had the rights for it, and then now he's kind of full circle here. He's getting it back as WizKids is probably divesting some of these projects that they're not going to get to. So, but very cool, very like I said, pretty big news in the industry with a lot of big names attached to it. So it'll be cool to kind of watch this and see where it ends up.
Yeah, it's interesting. What's funny is, so like that list there is interesting because you have, Zev, who's like famous. He's one of the biggest names in the industry, and Bonacore, who's also one of the biggest names, and then Jeff Engelstein, but then you have like a board game shop owner, right, and Tim McVie, and like Raul Gavolia is.
Oh yeah, Raul's in there. Yeah,
he's a content creator like us. He's a YouTube, Twitch streamer. He works with Rahdo and is part of all the Rahdo stuff.
Yep.
And so it's interesting. You have game designers, you have Gamma people, you have content creators. So they really kind of have that list of people is a wide breadth of knowledge for design, development, production, ownership, game store, how game stores run, how social media runs, how content creation runs.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see that there's a lot of variance of knowledge there. That's very interesting.
Ryan Neumeyer. That is Ryan from Beth and Ryan and Beth.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, Ryan Beth.
The content creators that you see on Dice Tower.
Oh,
There's a
okay.
couple
Oh, yeah. All right.
those
Cool.
folks, yeah.
Yeah. So they got a lot of different parts of the industry that they're pulling in to help run this thing. So
The question is are they going to be part of running or designing games, or are they going to be like dedicated content creators?
I think it's everything. I think there are like Bonacor and people like that are the money, and then you got the game designers, and you have people that know social media and stuff. It'll be interesting to see what role people take.
Yeah, I'm pulling them from different corners, like I say, of the industry. So, yeah, it should be, again, just something to kind of keep an eye on, something to watch. I mean, we're hearing a lot of game companies. Well, I guess they're going in both directions. Some of the giants are just getting bigger, and a lot of the little ones are kind of slowly disappearing. So, to see this one with all these names attached, like I say, I'll just be curious to watch and see what happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say, what's funny is, so Jeff Engelstein is a huge name. He's designed a bunch of games. And I was thinking today, I'm like, how many Jeff Engelstein games have I played that I actually really liked?
That's like he had the Dragon Brawl, Dragon.
So look him up on BGG.
It was like the robot. It was like the Robot Rally version.
Yeah, it was. Actually, I traded
Brawl.
that game away. I traded that away.
Then there's the Space Cadets.
Space Cadets. Space Cadets. Missions.
Okay, yeah.
He did the I tell you what, the one I thought of, I'm like, okay, I like that game, was the Super Skill Pinball.
Oh yeah,
yes,
that was a good one.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good one. Like he's obviously really smart, and he knows game. I've read. I don't know if any of you guys haven't read the Game Tech book that he wrote with all of his stuff. I own a copy of it. I can pass it on to anyone to read.
Cool. Yeah.
I mean, dude's super smart. Obviously, is a super successful engineer. Owns a business.
His kids too, because his daughter was on the Ares expeditions.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
his
daughter's on that one.
Yep. Yeah, Sydney Engelstein.
Which is a game I actually like.
Yeah,
there is an Engelstein game I like.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's a few that I'm forgetting about, but I'm like for a guy that is that big in the industry and that smart in the industry, I don't even know if he has a game in the top 100, which is interesting. But anyway, it was just a thought that I had. I'm like, I really like him. I love listening to him talk about game design and game theory and stuff like that. And I'm like, and then I was like, oh, well, like how many of his games do I actually like? It was a few. There was a couple. But yeah, it was interesting.
Very good. Let's see other topics. Unless anybody wants to interject, a Mike or a Wayne, anyone that you wanted to highlight.
How about Hasbro letting off 1,000 people?
And I just read an updated article today. I was worried because I had heard that it wasn't going to impact the tabletop side, but then an article today confirmed the opposite, that there are D&D design team members and Magic the Gathering design team members who were part of that notice.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's really nothing new for them, though. I mean, if you think about it, when third edition came out, Monty Cook was like one of the main guys there, and they quickly, once third edition came out and was successful, they quickly jettisoned him too, and then he went off and did his own thing, and now he's got a Monty Cook press and all this stuff. So I mean, clearly, if they're looking to cut 1,100 jobs, it's just redundancies, right? Like I wonder how many are actually going to be in the D&D space, right? And it could be just the idea of getting rid of the old, overpaid people that are probably just go off and do their own stuff and bringing in some new blood.
Yeah, but this is another 1,100 on top of the 800 that were already laid off in January.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was hearing good things about the industry, and we're in a good spot. And I even heard good things about Hasbro with all the licensing deal, right? Because you got the licensing deals for the Lord of the Rings with Magic the Gathering, like how much money that's made for them. And then this news just kind of comes out right before the holidays. Like, oh, wow, maybe they're not doing as well as I thought they were doing.
So I think, though, if you take Magic and D&D, and that's under the WotC brand, the WotC brand, which is under Hasbro, is still immensely popular and profitable.
Oh, yeah.
That actually makes the lion's share. If you remember, I think either earlier this year or even late last year, there was a whole article where there was a bunch of like hedge fund guys saying, hey, Hasbro should really spin WotC off into its own company and separate because the Hasbro toy brand is not toxic, but it doesn't make what it used to make. Kids don't play with toys anymore. It's all digital electronics.
They
But
actually sell it to adults because they do a lot of action
Right.
figures now
That's
that
what
are
I'm saying, like,
targeted at adults.
yeah, their market is skewing older. But the Wizards of the Coast Magic D&D is so immensely popular. There was in the article I remember from earlier this year that the hedge fund people were saying if you separated the two companies, if you said Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast, whatever, that company would be as valuable as Hasbro. So think about it, like how much money Hasbro's currently worth, and if you split them off and did WotC on its own with D&D and Magic, it would be as valuable as Hasbro in total. That's crazy. So I think that's where most of these are going to be in the toy industry on the Hasbro side.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah.
When you think
Ron,
things are great.
we're going to open the phones. Ron's going to call in because they're talking about this. Interesting.
Oh yeah. That's his topic. Yeah. Jump into that WotC stuff. Wizards of the Coast. For those in the not know, I didn't know that for a long time. I heard y'all guys talking a lot about WotC. I was like, what the heck is that? I think Carlos finally filled me in. Wizards of the Coast. Yeah.
Which was a separate company that bought TSR, and TSR folded into WotC, and then WotC sold to Hasbro.
Oh man, TSR, those were the.
I still love that opening from the original Baldur's Gate with the TSR logo and the dragon. I love that. Anyway.
Yeah, and I've got some interest in the Carlos queuing up the next topic over there. That was a pretty interesting video.
That was. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Mike, I know you enjoyed watching it. I fast forwarded to the parts that I got into. Mike, you posted this one in our news chat.
Garfield Games.
Yeah.
A lot of updates in their 1 hour live stream.
Yep. Oh, hit mute.
Oh, it's on the TV. I don't think they can hear that at home. Can y'all hear that at home?
A little bit. It's coming through for me.
A little bit in the background, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear a little bit.
I don't know where the TV remote is.
Oh well.
That's all right. We can talk
Technology
over it.
Just hit mute on the.
Yeah, there he
I
is. He
found it.
He found it.
There we
you
go.
Mute that sucker.
All right.
Yeah, it was about an hour-long video, if I remember. I watched the whole thing, and it was they had a lot of announcements there that of some good stuff coming.
Let's start with this one here, Mike. And did you get any updates, any summary on the Anarchy?
The Anarchy.
Here's the thing, man. I posted that video, and I was like, I got to get back to this video. I never got back to it.
I skipped to the part that I wanted to see. So, okay, so the Anarchy.
Go ahead.
What do you know?
I think that title is interesting though, because it's not just Anarchy; it's the Anarchy. So it's definitely referencing a specific either group or time in history.
I forgot they mentioned in the video. And I'm not a history buff, but it was a specific event.
Yeah, kind of like the Assassins were originally a specific group in time. Yeah.
But this
I like this. It looks like Shim and Sam are in our stream.
In our chat here.
We're big. We're big.
Yeah.
They can join us anytime they want. They can just call in, right?
That'd be great.
This is a Hadrian's Wall, they have said. So this is, they said it's going to be about on that level. It's got some different mechanisms. I know Sam McDonald said that one of the big ways it's different, though, is that Hadrian's Wall is very prescribed. He said kind of your engine is already there on the paperwork. Your engine's already built. In Hadrian's Wall, you're just kind of deciding how to trigger that engine, deciding what things to upgrade, to trigger other things, to then trigger other things. In the Anarchy, he said this is actually going to be a step up in complexity from Hadrian's Wall, which kind of blew me away a little bit because Hadrian's Wall is plenty complicated, and I'm a fairly heavy gamer. So, but he said this is going to be a slight step up because it's going to do all the combo-y goodness that Hadrian's Wall does, but it is going to allow you to customize your engine. So, again, take whatever, if you know Hadrian's Wall, I would agree that it is very much, you've got everything kind of divided into different sections on those sheets of paper. But on this one, he said you're going to be able to decide how to take these different areas and how to build out each one to form combos within their own areas. And so in Hadrian's Wall, there's a lot of doing something over on this page, which triggers something over on that page, which then triggers something lower down on the page, and you kind of are triggering things in different sections. But this one, you're going to be able to kind of decide. I would assume you could probably still build your engine that way, or you could kind of specialize really in one thing and make everything kind of trigger on itself there and get points that way. So he said this is definitely going to be a little more brain burny, probably. Excuse me. And he said there'll probably be slightly more player interaction than there is in Hadrian's Wall. Hadrian's Wall has very little player interaction, but he said overall this will still be kind of a heads down. You're kind of playing your own game, but there were a few more elements. He didn't get into the specifics, but there are a few more elements that are going to allow a little bit of more player interaction. So I'm interested in that. I've only played Hadrian's Wall the one time. Mike taught me, and we played, and then I took off, too long, and I started forgetting the rules. And so it's just one of those games that's heavy enough that I haven't looked forward to jumping back into it. I keep looking for somebody locally here that knows it really well that'll play and teach me again. But it may be one I just have to sit down, and me and Carlos may just need to sit down and learn it one day again. But I'm definitely interested in the Anarchy. It sounds pretty cool, and then this artwork and stuff, with Shim Phillips and all that. It's really a looker. So
Yeah, I'm interested in this one too.
Yeah,
Hadrian's Wall's on BGA.
there you go.
I played.
All right.
I've not played this physically, but I played it on BGA once now, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I really need to sit down and watch a video on this again."
Yeah, the teach is literally almost an hour. I think it took us about an hour for Mike to teach it. Yeah.
Oh, no, it didn't take that long. It's a good 20, 25-minute teach.
No, maybe 30 minutes. Yeah, maybe 25 minutes, 30. Yeah. You're right. It's been a little while. It's been a few years since we played it. Yeah.
Did anybody get any updates on Skara Bray?
Yeah, it's like this is like a Scottish, Irish, or Celtic heritage.
Yeah, I think it was
type thing.
Celtic. Yeah, it's it wasn't prehistory. He said it's a little after prehistoric. I forget what time period he said it was, but I'm trying to remember the details on this one. This one didn't jump out at me as much. This one he definitely said
Kind of feels like a Raiders look.
Yeah, he said it was definitely lighter. It's definitely more in that that kind of that Raiders weight, a little more user friendly. I'm just trying to remember the specifics of the setting on it.
Let's see. Around 5,000 years ago, a resilient group of farmers and hunters built a thriving community on the Orkney Islands of northern Scotland. Rather than discarding their empty shells, broken tools, bones, and other waste, they used them to form large mounds of earth over hundreds of years. Later generations dug into the midden piles to create a series of rooms and tunnels to shelter from the harsh winds and cold winter months. The aim of Skara Bray is to gather various resources in order to feed, clothe, and shelter the growing number of settlers. Players take turn drafting cards and using their workers to furnish, cook, craft, clean, and trade. At the end of each round, players need to provide for their settlers and will likely create more midden that needs to be cleaned up. After 4 rounds, the player with the most points wins. Okay, so it's like Wall-E. You got to clean up your trash.
Wall-E. Yeah, that description reminds me of the two things that jumped out at me where you got to feed your people. He did say this was a feed your people every round game, so you are going to need to make sure you can meet that requirement, or you're going to have some pretty bad penalties at the end of each of the rounds or seasons or years or whatever it is. And then the other one, he did say this was a big kind of resource collection game. You're going to be gathering resources. You can go heavy in one resource and kind of produce one type of thing and then trade with other people, or you can get a little bit of a bunch of different resources. And if I remember, he kind of compared it to architects, where the more workers, it's kind of a worker placement thing if I remember, the more workers you place in an area, the more of that resource you get. So you can either spread out and go to a bunch of different areas and get a little bit of a bunch of different resources so that you can craft and build different things, or you can go heavy in one area, like I said, just really specialize in that resource, use it to its max, create things that maybe other people want, and then trade so that you can get the other things that you need to keep your civilization going. So
Interesting.
yeah. But definitely
Raiders was the one I was looking forward to.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason that got me in there. When you posted it, the first thing I did is I literally skipped to this segment and left everything else alone.
Yeah.
That's a looking cover.
He said this was a steampunk kind of Mad Max. He said a little bit of still engine. Everything runs with engines. He said so. It's very kind of steampunky. A lot of technology, but he said kind of early like engine technology. I remember that stuck out at me for what he said. This was a brand new game for Arcus Games, and actually that reminds me, Shelfie Stacker, which we played, is
Arcus Games.
Arcus Games. So yeah, they mentioned that.
I think this is a company that he is a part owner of.
Right. And so he said this is another one that's going to kind of be in that series. So they're coming out. They're trying to kind of put a
Catalog.
a field, catalog of games that are going to kind of feel a little bit similar. Although I don't see this.
I was just going to say that
Shelfie Stacker.
Shem has games that feel similar.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well,
It's
it's
not
what
being
it is.
degrading.
These games are the non-trilogy historical games.
Okay.
All the Arcus games are anything that's not ancient history. Right?
Okay.
Good point. Because Garfield is more of the historical based trilogy games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The one picture that I saw of this game of like the components on the table, that's what right there. Oh,
Well, I think I brought it to your attention because you talked about playing Dune, and I'm like, hey, did you see this Storm Raiders? Because it reminds me of that 80s Dune game.
Oh, that's right. It has a
so
storm
good.
that's on it. Yeah.
This has
And
a
I know
pick up
this
and deliver.
sketch, but
And now that I'm seeing this reminds me, he was talking about there's a pickup and deliver. There's these storms that drop in, and the storms are going to bring in different resources. And so then there's a race sometimes, depending on where the storms drop and where the resources end up, to going out and picking up those resources and then bringing them back. And then I forget what you do with the resources in this one specifically.
Here's what you do. The aim of Storm Raiders is to be the player with the most prestige at the game's end. Storm raiding is a perilous task filled with many dangers, the most devastating being the mighty rift storm that encircles the many islands. Players will want to stay close to the storm without being overcome by its immeasurable force. Prestige is gained by salvaging wreck sites, fulfilling contracts, acquiring crew, upgrading their vehicles, and earning medals. Players will be drafting dice each turn to either travel using their trike, plane, or sub, or to instead take some much-needed time to rest and repair their battered vehicles. After 6 rounds of traversing the splintered landscape, players will add up their prestige points to determine who will be remembered as the greatest Storm Raider of their time.
There you go.
nice.
Yeah. So there's that whole element. I think that was the storms. You're trying not to get caught in the storms, but you want to stay close by because they're going to cause wreckage and they're going to spread resources and things that you want to pick up as you go along. So there's a little bit of sounds like maybe a little bit of luck in it. I'm guessing maybe the storms are probably going to be unpredictable, so they're going to move in weird ways. So you got to kind of stay in that area. But then I do remember him talking about upgrading your different vehicles so that you can be more efficient or that you can be faster, so that you can go grab the stuff quicker. So you got a lot of customization and kind of how you want to build your clan or whatever, your race there to go out and get stuff. So yeah, sounds interesting.
Kind of feels like Circadian's Light in the way they describe some of it with the dice drafting for the action. So I know that's big in Circadian's Light is making sure you're getting the right dice in the right place, using your vehicles to explore, to interact with the board. Right, that's kind of Circadian's Light-ish. where you're moving the rover around to kind of get stuff.
It reminds me of what's that older pick up and deliver game that was kind of like in it was kind of like Mad
Wasteland. What was
Wasteland Delivery Service?
Yes,
that's it.
That one. I kind of get I don't know if it's going to be like that, but I kind of get those feels from this as well from the description. But
yeah, and this picture here,
like that. I hope it's a good game, man, because it just from this little sketch that he has here, it looks.
There you go.
It's on my shelf of
Wasteland
shame.
Express delivery service.
You've never played that?
No, I haven't, but I've never played it.
I can't say simple. It's a pretty straightforward pickup and delivery game. I think you'd like it. So,
but it looks awesome.
Yeah,
like it's like 51st State look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. And these, I was just going to say, these what appears in this, I think he said this picture's from TTS. It's one of the, if it's not TTS, Tabletop Simulator, it's one of the other major ones where they're actually doing play testing now. And he said that in the video that if you're interested, you could reach out to them, I think through the website, and they're setting up games for people to be able to play this with them online and learn the game. But it looks like they're going to have little player boards, these little kind of weirdly shaped player boards where you're going to put all your stuff and all your upgrades and everything. And so I don't know if that's going to be game trays or who's doing that, but that looks pretty neat to me also.
The display.
Yeah.
Might want to turn the phones on there.
Okay. Yep.
With
Yeah.
phone time. Yeah, 9:31. There you go.
I think as Carlos turns on the phones, if I could do two little plugs.
Okay.
The first one is shortly we're going to start our next Beans and Dice tournament. We got a for sale tournament on BGA.
Discord. Yep, on BGA
so
through the Discord.
Through Discord you can join. I think we have 18 or 20 people already. So
yeah,
it's a for sale is a fun game. It's a quick auction bidding game. So if you haven't played it, it's really easy to learn. Feel free to join in. The tournament's going to start soon. Getty's running it for us as usual. So hopefully we can get a good turnout for that. Like I said, we already have 18 to 20 people registered. And then if you're in the greater Tampa Bay area this Saturday, we have a Beans and Dice game day from, I guess, noonish and till close at Armada Games right by USF. And we're going to do our holiday gift exchange kind of thing, where if you bring a game wrapped or unwrapped, $25 or more, we're going to put them all on a table. And everyone there is going to draw numbers, and we'll start doing a little snake draft. You go up and
used,
draft
unused, whatever,
Gently used, yeah.
If used, gently used, but I'm going to bring, and we'll have extras. I'm going to bring 3 or 4, I think, games.
Yeah, I'm going to bring 2 or 3 games, yeah, for sure.
Yep. So, and then we'll go from there. So we're looking, if you're there, just come on by. I think we're going to start the sort of Santa White Elephant-ish exchange about 2:00.
Yeah, hopefully the
2:00.
Yeah.
hopefully the weather will communicate or cooperate.
I think 3:00 Saturdays when it's supposed to really come through.
Yeah, they're talking like cyclones and
Tropical
possible tornadoes
storm
and
type.
tropical
Yeah.
storms. Yeah, so we'll have to see what happens.
So if
but,
we can
yeah.
get it in at 2 and done by 3:00, we should be able to at least skip the weather. Hopefully,
yeah, I hope so. BJ's in.
All
BJ,
right.
oh my God, Chef and Sam were on Beans and Dice. Yeah, they were here. You missed them, man. You could have.
Yeah, they were here. They're gone.
Yeah. BJ's in for the for sale tournament. I love it. Great.
sweet.
So, yeah, we love
Yeah.
the BGA tournaments. Thank you so much for Getty, our Boston Baked Beans member.
Yeah.
I got to get the laser fixed. I could not find that thumb drive, so I'm
waiting-
giving up on
start
finding
over.
it.
I'm waiting
I'm
on
gonna
my
be-
can't stop tournament
I'm-
win.
This weekend begins the recreation of all the files. So
Okay.
I think I made
I
Nick
tore my
mad.
room apart this time. Rob can see that I reorganized in here because I tore up this entire room
Really
looking for
the
it.
thumb drive.
And then my thumb drive that I had all my Inkscape files on with all my laser cutting files. So now I'm just gonna have to recreate all the art and create all new stuff.
Doesn't know what the cloud is. Yeah.
Okay.
I will be using Google Drive this
Oh,
time.
yeah, you think so? Yeah.
I'm going. I'm catching up with the rest of the world.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
BJ
yes,
says
I'll
he's
get those
gonna-
out to Getty. I owe him some stuff.
Hunters of the South.
BJ was. I was going to ask them when
Hunters
they
of
were
the
going
South
to.
Everglades.
I
There
mean,
you go.
you could create a game about people who have to go hunt all of the
Boa
pythons, right?
Boa constrictors, yeah.
alligators,
Is it python? I thought it was pythons that were big.
Or
in there.
pythons. That's what I
Maybe
meant.
it is. I was thinking boa, but yeah,
Yeah.
either one. Yeah.
All the iguanas too, man. It's
Yep.
free reign to kill iguanas in Florida too.
But yeah, for those of you who were not from the Tampa Bay or from the Florida area, not Tampa Bay, but from Florida, so the Florida Everglades have a massive infestation of pythons, which is not a native species, but apparently over the years, people in South Florida had them as pets, didn't like the fact that
Got
these
too
things
big.
got too
They got
big,
big. Yeah.
and released them into the wild in the Everglades, and there's no natural predators, so there are some mega pythons.
Monsters.
in the-
They killed a
Monster.
17-footer just a couple weeks ago. A 17-foot long.
And that's like they've been longer than that, even.
Yeah, oh, I'm
17,
sure,
20,
yeah.
I was insane. So there's actually like a bounty, and people will go into the Everglades and hunt
Mhm.
these pythons to try to control the population. You could make a game on that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do like a event card deck, right?
Oh, yeah.
And one of the events is like freezing temperatures, and you got to dodge iguanas that are falling out of the trees.
Yeah,
That's the thing here. That's Miami.
yeah, we have those, and then we have what the is it the kingfish that is like that invasive
Lionfish?
species? The lionfish. there you go.
Lionfish, yeah.
Lionfish
Mhm.
that are invasive that you can hunt them to whatever you want. So
Yeah, they have a contest every year for the lionfish, the Volatan lion. Whoever kills the most gets like a $10,000 prize. I think it's a 30-day window, but yeah, it's open season. Yep.
all right, BJ, I need to know where this episode is. So BJ says there's a great episode where the Cajun gator hunters go python. hunting.
Yeah, python. You had to work go in there. Yeah.
Go, yeah. How to work that in there? What show is this? Because I need to watch this. Because
Isn't it swamp? What is it? Swamp?
Swamp Hunters or something? Yeah, who knows? But
It's
that'd be funny.
that guy Troy. Troy with come to son.
Cajun Swamp Kings.
Can't ever understand a word he's saying.
Swamp.
Swamp people, swamp. Anyway,
Yeah.
back to board games. Phone lines are open. 813-618-7099 is the number. Swamp people. I had it
Swamp
right.
people, serpent
Invasion. I love it.
Nice.
It's amazing. I've never seen a link come. Oh, he's on Twitch. That's why Twitch doesn't
That's
block
right.
the links.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I like it. There we go. I like it.
The
That's
Swamp
awesome.
People link. That's the one that goes through.
Yep.
When that finally makes it on the show. We can't get T-shirts. We can't.
Troy
get anything
and
else.
Pickle. That's the one. I do watch.
Troy
I do
Pickle.
watch.
All right. Well,
Man, I gotta
obviously
watch
Pickle's,
DJ does
Pickle's
too.
a girl.
Is it okay? All right.
Amazing.
I
She's
go with
tough.
it now.
All right, so what was the main topic for this show that we were going to carry on?
Top
Let's go.
20. We were going to do
We're
top
doing
20. That was
tonight.
like
We're
the
doing
main
top 20.
focus.
We got
Like,
time, but
that's the one thing we got to get done today is top 20. We were going through some news topics. Did I miss any other important ones? Well, some. Let's go through the ones that maybe other folks have put in here too. I want to make sure that if you're a viewer and you put in a news article, that I hit that up as well.
Board Game Gumbo merch. What?
There's links. He's throwing links in there now.
Oh, no,
Throw
yeah,
links
nice.
now, we're done.
You turn them loose.
Now that he knows.
Spike
Spike
Carlos
Carlos wood stuff.
Wood stuff.
Don't click on that link. I have no control over where that takes you.
Woodstuff.com.
That website is under federal investigation.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Hmm.
Well, Mr. Jeeves put something out there about what's considered
Oh,
an
the AI.
article about AI.
Oh, yeah,
art.
I didn't see that one yet.
I haven't
Yeah.
had time to
not get a
watch
chance
it
to play
or
it.
read it.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have to bring that one up after we get some. Maybe next week get some updates on there. Any other articles that we saw? There was that
I
Martin
agree.
Wallace game that's coming out. The Cthulhu one. Somebody had posted that one.
Oh, because that's a remake.
Oh, yeah.
An
What's
older.
the game? It's on the tip of my
It's
tongue.
my list of games here that I actually played. That's why. A Study in Emerald. is
Study in
what it's
Emerald.
a
That's
remake.
it. I know a couple from our group played that at this last Dice Tower. They had heard about it, heard good things, and so they picked it up and played it. And absolutely did
Study in
not
Emerald?
like it. Yeah, Study in Emerald. They did not like it at all.
Yeah, but this looks great.
Yeah, this really looks good.
Is this the one that they played on the Dice Tower this week, right?
They did say they were playing it or were getting ready to play it, so yeah, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
All right, so that's another topic that we saw. So that's exciting to see more Martin Wallace. And what I really love about Martin Wallace is, like, I feel there's variety in the themes that he's willing to do.
Sure.
Right? You get, of course, brass, right? Lancashire and or Birmingham.
Yeah.
But then you have, like, on my shelf of shame. I'm not counting yet, Wayne. I'm not counting how many games are on here.
No.
I want to
not gonna
know,
do it.
like, so the fact that you
Then you get,
grab
like,
from the shelf-
Wildlands.
Upside down.
Wildlands.
Yep, there you go.
your shelf of shame has been grabbed from everywhere behind you. So where exactly is the shelf of played?
It's just kind of mixed in there. It's just
everywhere.
yeah, it's all around us. I'm surrounded by shame.
And Rob, I think it's inside you too.
Shame. Oh, no, I don't know about that, but
It's everywhere.
shame.
This is like a fantasy-ish or alternate world reality, skirmish game, and that's Martin Wallace. It's like the guy can do anything.
yeah.
I heard that was a pretty good game. That
It's supposed to be. Yeah, we haven't tried it yet, but it's.
Got to get it off my shelf of shame.
I watched part of a play
Yeah.
on it, and
Stream. Now it's going back on it.
there you go.
Martin Wallace did. He also did the Australia game, right?
Yes.
Yes.
That's another
Eight-
one that
the one with
like,
the Z.
Australia.
yeah, with alls, yeah, where it's like Cthulhu, whatever, maybe or something.
Through
Isn't it a train too? It's like a train game?
building with Cthulhu attacking. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's another one that like came out and it was like people. It didn't, but it's stuck around. Like people keep.
Oh, it's got a
bringing it
cult
up.
following. There are people
Yeah.
who really like it. Yeah. It's from what I understand, it is again. Martin Wallace, of course, it's fairly heavy, and so it's a game you got to play a few times and kind of get really into. So if you get a group of people who play it and really want to get into it, I've heard it's pretty good. And speaking of skirmish, you mentioned the word skirmish. That just brought something to mind. I'm interested in I'm a big Star Trek fan, but the away missions. I know Dice Tower just did a review on that. It was Joey Evans and his wife. I forget her first name, but they did a review of it and they liked it. They're looking for the base box just has 2 factions. I forget who it was, and it has some limited players. But they were saying how there is a lot of room in this for expansions. There's tons of stuff they can do, and actually I think there already are Ferengi and one other race. I think maybe the Romulans. It was the Borg, and then the the Federation in the base box, and I think it's 4 Borg, just generic Borg characters, and then it's 4 of a couple of the big name characters from Next Generation, but then a couple of off characters, and so they were saying they could bring so many more in. But they said this is a fairly heavy-ish skirmish game, and I know Carlos for years and years and years was trying to get me into different skirmish games.
I'm actually glad to hear you say this because I've been Secret Cabal did a review of it.
Oh, did I? I haven't seen
and
it yet.
dude, it got me. Like, it's on my wish list on Amazon.
Okay, let's do it.
But I haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
But now that you're saying it, Robert.
Oh, I'm a big Star Trek fan, so I want to try anything Star Trek. But
what about like the big-headed
and-
minis? Like these minis are not normal proportions, and they're not quite chibi, but the heads are larger than the bodies proportionally should be.
Okay.
Compared to the body, in order to kind of bring out the details of each of the characters. But this all has to do with that time period during the wars with
the Borg or
yes. Oh man, I'm trying to remember this specific episode.
Like Wolf 8579.
Yes.
The whole big battle. No, I love all the fact that there's a ton of new Star Trek games that have come out in the last year. And I have to play it. I have to play them all.
I can't wait. Yeah, I'm a big fan. But we got a caller?
Beans and Dice Podcast. Just
introduce yourself from Atlanta.
Yeah, Carlos isn't even going to introduce you anymore. He's just going to turn it right over to you.
Member of the team.
Yeah.
How you doing, Ron Fraser?
I am doing well. Another 3-day weekend that I'm excited about.
Nice.
It's a great time of year for me. Great time of year.
Oh yeah. All the holidays, all the holiday stuff. Busy and stressful a little bit, but great time of the year.
Yeah, let me tell you. So, I work at, I think I played you guys before, but I work at 987, so I get every Friday off. And so as it turns out, this time of year, November, December, I end up working like 2 Fridays in a 2-month stretch, and it's a glorious thing. So last Friday was my last working Friday of 2023. So
awesome.
Nice.
No more Fridays. But that is not why I'm calling. This is a board game calling show. And I'm here to talk about board games, or tabletop games in general. Before I get to the topic that really piqued my interest, I wanted to know if I missed you guys discussing the Plan to Z, which had an announcement this week.
Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting. We were talking about how, the board game market is getting more and more flooded. Of course, companies get formed, companies die, companies, all of that stuff. And is this the third company that's ever started?
Third that a major company's been part of, but yeah. I don't know if he started all 3 of them.
Yeah.
Obviously, Z-Man was his baby, so he definitely started and ran that and made it big.
Yeah, we talk a whole lot about game designers and we talk about some publishers by name, but Jamie obviously gets a lot of mention.
Sure.
Particularly on this podcast because he's a friend of the podcast.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't hear Zev's name as much, and I just find it interesting considering the fact that Pandemic, was published by Z-Man. Of course, Matt Leacock designed it, but it's published by Z-Man. But Bonacore is on the board of the directors. He made a post in his group saying that he's still retired. This is being on board is what retired people do out there on the viewers.
Oh yeah.
He's the money.
They have an all-star.
Hey, he's just pouring the money in.
Yeah. I look at that and I'm like, man, that is an all-star cast. And I think that's the kind of splash that they wanted to make. I'm really interested to see what they're going to come up with, which is, I think, the whole purpose of that, the press release, right?
Yeah. That's why I said just definitely something to kind of keep an eye on. Just going to be curious to see, because they're pulling people we talked a little bit about from all different parts of the industry. They've got content creators in there. They've got big-time publishers. They've got people who are, again, supplying the financial side of things. They've got business people. They pulled all these big names together, game producers, game publishers, game designers that are all going to be on this board and helping run the company. And so they seem to be grabbing from a lot of different corners and a lot of big names. And so that it'll be really fun to kind of watch and see where this goes. I wish them all the luck. I think it'll be fun to watch them, especially if they do well. And just want to touch on real quick, you mentioned Zev and his kind of being under the radar. You don't hear his name a lot. I wonder how much of that has to do with kind of his personality, because he seems to be. I've never met him in person. I've kind of seen him around. I've seen him a few times out in the wild, but he seems to be kind of a nice guy, kind of quiet, kind of thoughtful, intellectual. Obviously, a smart guy. He knows what he's doing business wise. He knows how to run these companies and make them big. But he doesn't have that personality that a Bonacore or some of these other people have. And so
and because he's not a designer, right? So like a Jamie is a designer first. Publisher, because he was a designer. Zev is a designer, is a publisher, which tend to not be the people that you like celebritize. If that's a word.
Well, and the fact that he started at least 2 or 3 different companies, made them mega, sold to bigger companies, then went off and restarted. I mean, he's clearly a phenomenal businessman.
Knows what he's doing.
But his games were, when he was running the company, his games were sought after. I mean, like Merchants and Marauders.
Z-Man, WizKids, everything he's done has been popular.
That's something that I definitely noticed. And I was trying to think of like who we can compare him to, but I kept thinking of people who also did design. Because I think Bonacore's done a little bit of design, I may be mistaken about that. Obviously, Jamie. A lot of board game companies exist because guys design games and they decided to start a company to get the game out there instead of going to another publisher. So anyway, it's just stuff that was interesting interesting development to see. But the thing that I actually called about was the whole thing with WotC and the layoffs and everything like that. I think a big company just does. And it's sad to see it. So many people's lives affected in such a negative way, particularly folks that have been around a long time. There are people that have been working for WotC for 10 or 15 years that have lost their jobs, and just like that, some folks that were behind the scenes that people may never have heard of, and some other folks that were instrumental in the previous edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Who moved over to Magic. Not that Rob would know, but Mike Merrill was like the lead designer for 4th edition of Dungeons and Dragons, and he has since moved over to Magic, and he got caught up in the layoffs and everything like that.
Mike
really? Had a little bit of a company. Yeah.
Wow.
But so Ron, though, if you think about it, if you go all the way back to the TSR days and look at big names at TSR and then WotC and now Hasbro, whatever, a lot of these people have gone on to do so you have Margaret Weiss, Tracy Hickman, all right. You have my brain, the guy from MCDM, you have
Yeah.
Monty Cook, like
Yeah,
all of these, there's a long history of big D&D names that work for Wizards of the Coast or D&D or WotC or Hasbro, whoever owns them, that created first edition, second, third, Dragonlance, fifth edition, that eventually once the mega corporation goes, we don't want to pay you because you cost too much, they go off and do crazy things on their own, right?
Yeah. I mean, and that's a that's certainly a positive. I would say, but it's still sad to see the vast majority of those folks are not, Monty Cook and Matt Colville and whoever, and that's who that's the people that I feel the most sad for. But this is how businesses work when you're publicly traded. This is the thing. You guys were talking about the whole how D&D could be spun off into a separate division, and that was the whole thing. That was actually an investment, a group of investors that were trying to force that to happen. It's wild to me that there was a point in time as a brand that Dungeons and Dragons did not, it wasn't on the chopping block, but it was the thing where it was a realistic possibility that there might not have been any more development on Dungeons and Dragons, a role playing game, and it just be reserved to the brand making T-shirts and all that, that kind of stuff. And now it's at a point where it's like, it's the moneymaker. That's bananas to me. And all because of the community. Because if it wasn't for the community, D&D would not be as popular as it was. Stranger Things, of course, had played a part into bringing people in, but you still had to have people to run to be DM for the games.
Yeah.
And you still had so you had Stranger Things, you had a little bit of Critical Role, which of course had an effect. But once again, this is a community of voice actors who, were just decided to stream their games, probably to make a little money, and they succeeded beyond the wider streams.
Yeah, make a little bit of money,
but it all came from the community. Yeah, I mean, just a little bit. And I don't, and of course, there's not an equivalent in board gaming. But I have a question for you guys. Do you think that something similar could happen? Maybe not a Critical Role effect, but or do you think it has happened?
I think it has happened, and it could happen again. I think Will Wheaton's tabletop. Will Wheaton's tabletop was the
right, yeah.
Was kind of a quasi Critical Role event because you had all these crazy actors and well-known actors and people playing board games, and I think that opened it up. And I think if that happened again, and I think you get some of that. You get what's his Superman.
He's doing the Warhammer thing.
Cavill.
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
I think he's going to be on Netflix doing a Warhammer thing, right?
Yeah, you've never watched a million women watch a dude paint figures, right? He just, what I'm saying?
But if I take my shirt off, we lose everything.
Henry Cavill painting Warhammer, right? So and it's the Vin Diesel playing D&D, right? It's kind of like little pepperings of things in whether it be D&D or board games that I think that it's building, right? It's become commonplace. I think there was a, and I hate to. So there was an interesting. I was listening to Blue Peg Pink Peg podcast, and it's a guy our age, and he has like a teenage daughter, and he was talking about how he's playing D&D or like role playing game with his daughter and a friend or whatever, and they went to like a cafe, and he's like, it was really busy. It's Christmas time. There's huge lines, and then she just chose the biggest table in the center of the cafe, and here they are playing like a D&D game in the middle of a cafe, and all these random people are in line buying coffees, whatever. And he's like, when I was a kid playing these games, I was like, I was in the basement. I was afraid to let anybody know that I played games. And here's my teenage daughter going, I don't care. Let people watch us play. We love it, right? So it's like, I think it's part of that whole like getting in the zeitgeist, getting in the normal atmosphere. Critical Role hit it big with role-playing gamers because of their voice acting ability. But I think if another Will Wheaton tabletop happened, it would be huge for the another step up.
Yeah. Do you think that can happen with a singular game or game series? Because I think that's the line of that's the line I was thinking about when I asked that question.
I don't think so. I think it requires some variety, just to keep people watching. I can't think of any one series or one title that would keep people coming back to watch over and over, even if it was different celebrities and different famous people. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think
Gloomhaven. Celebrities play Gloomhaven.
I don't know. I think that would be hard for people to watch. So, I mean, that's a good shot, though. I mean, because that is a big title, and there's enough variety in that, and the different scenarios and stuff. But even that, I don't know. I think that particularly because it's so complex, I think would be hard for people to watch. But
this is coming from the guy who likes to watch people play games.
Oh yeah.
I am not the ilk that likes to watch people play games.
Well, I love it.
That's his preferred medium of content to ingest.
Yeah, that's the way I kind of figure out how I would like games. I watch people play. I don't necessarily gauge it off of how they react to playing the game, but being able to see how the mechanisms actually work and how a turn works and how people interact with each other at the table, the player interaction.
But you still don't see, with that love, you don't see that there's going to be a title that would hold your attention.
Not one
for 15 episodes.
Yeah, episodes over a series. No,
so I think the games that would hold my attention like that, I wouldn't want to watch, because like if you watch a bunch of celebrities playing like Pandemic Legacy season 1, 2,
Jodak is trying to start some trouble here.
Yeah.
Trump and Biden played hegemony.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see how those games, because those are games.
That's what I'm saying. Like it would be really fun to watch a bunch of celebrities play those games, but I don't want to spoil it. I want to play it myself, right? So
yeah.
And that's why I thought I'd ask. That's why I thought I'd ask the question, because board games generally is a completely different animal than role-playing games.
It's different for war games, though, right? For war games, I have watched hundreds and hundreds of hours of X-Wing being played on the tabletop.
But again, there's a variety. That's a good example. Sorry,
guy that said he doesn't like watching games being played.
Yeah,
And I never play solitaire.
He doesn't play solo either, right?
Unless I am.
But there is a lot of variety in that. I see what you're saying, though. I could kind of come with you down that path a little bit.
Would you watch 15 episodes of Marvel United, where they go through all the different sets and the different baddies and different combos of different good guys?
I don't know.
You don't even like Marvel United anyway.
Yes, cooperative is stretching that idea for me. So being cooperative, I'm not sure. But a head-to-head game like X-Wing, where you watch different people fly different ships and different factions and different.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, I could maybe see that. Yeah, I could maybe see something like that, or a skirmish game
as big as
tabletop.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it getting quite that big. It just
like Critical Role or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're narrowing down your audience too much. Where I think Critical Role, it's like, oh, I know that person, or what's her name? That I forget her name. The actress that's on there.
Plus, it's Laura Bailey. It's
that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, and they're all
Johnson.
Ashley Johnson. Been in a million things. Yeah. Well, and I think they also hit it.
That's another good point, because those guys had a following from video games. Like people, I haven't been big into video games in a good long time, but I believe that like their initial audience was brought in probably, from that. And then it exploded. Like,
and I
so
think they really also hit it big right before the pandemic.
Yeah, it was like a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson says Chad Stilson.
Yeah. When I tell you the other one, there's I've seen a million videos of her lately. So True Blood, the actress from True Blood, the really tall.
Is her last name?
Yeah, Deborah Ann Wall. She was also in Daredevil.
She's on game night all the time.
She's a huge D&D player. She's just GM. I've seen stuff on her a million times. So it's like some celebrities hit it, right? And so it's really role-playing games are big in that world. And it's just when do board games, get in there and the miniature games and things like that. So
I still don't know why anybody can't recreate what we felt that we had with Will Wheaton's on the table.
That was really good, man. Tabletop was awesome.
It even had a game day, like an annual game day.
They did,
yeah.
And that game day has like continued on, even though the show's no longer there. But that tabletop day game thing is still kind of a thing. But yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a situation of lightning in a bottle. Yeah. Really interesting stuff to ponder.
Ron brings us the interesting topics every week. You bring up new stuff we haven't thought about.
Always.
Much appreciated.
Well, no problem. If I'll spoil my kid. Of course, I'm calling next week if you guys are.
Okay, I was going to say if we don't, then Merry Christmas. But
no show. But
we'll talk to you next Thursday.
Yeah,
we'll talk to you next Thursday.
But check out Ron.
All right, take it easy.
Ron talks tabletop and a regular contributor on the Dice Tower to a couple different shows on the Dice Tower. So keep an eye and an ear out for Ron. He's always doing good stuff, and he's got the Instagram and all that.
Yeah, the Googles, the Instagrams,
the YouTubes. Yep.
Rob sounds so old.
Yep. The My Face or whatever.
Good night, Ron.
Bye, Ron.
Good night. Take it easy.
Phone lines are back open. 813-618-7099 is the number. It's crazy to think, Robert. It's crazy to think. 3 years ago, as of last Friday, was the first episode that we did as a call-in show.
3 years. Woo! We made it.
And
3 years is a thing, right?
8 years already.
Time flies.
I know.
Yeah, tell me about
Aren't
it.
we just talking about year 2?
I know.
Yeah, seems like it.
Didn't we just celebrate that?
3 years.
Last Friday was 3 years of doing the call-in show, and right about now, we'd be wrapping it up for the night.
Oh, yeah, 1 hour.
Like,
yeah.
we just did 1 hour, and we were done for the night. Time flies in that hour, so I'm glad we pushed it to 2. I'm glad you folks at home have continued to be around.
Yeah,
That's what's crazy.
Some of you for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, some of y'all from the
after
beginning.
10 o'clock, man. We get busier after 10 o'clock.
It does.
Yeah. Viewership is we can see it on the numbers here. It spikes up after about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Mike was with us from the beginning, even before we started doing the call-in show when we were just doing podcasting, just kind of talking about. I still remember our Champions of Midgard episode, one of my favorites. We espoused the love of Champions of Midgard, which happened to not make our top 20 list this year.
Oh.
It just never made it to the table.
I wonder if I played it this year.
Got rid of my copy of it.
Oh, did you really? Wow. Cole.
Wow.
It just never hit the table. Why hold on?
Yeah.
I'd rather somebody else play it. That's how I feel.
Give it a good home.
I'm trying to get it played before the year's up so I can get it on my board.
You only got, like 2 weeks left, so you better get on it.
It takes them so long to set it up because it's just a bunch of stuff in a box.
Scraped into a box, yeah. In the mint tin.
Let's talk top 20s. Now it's bottom half of the hour, or bottom half of the show. In the last hour of the show, we'll work on our top 20s here. I was hoping that Mike, I know you've it's been a while since we've seen your update.
Yeah, Mike said he's got a pretty good list to update here.
But I'm hoping he's got his nice digital board all set up.
Always, man.
His board is so pretty.
He preps.
As you guys put it, I'm always trying to show you guys off, one up you guys on everything. So
yeah, I did mine like an hour before the show, and Mike's been studying for this for like the last week. So
oh no, I literally did mine an hour or two ago.
Okay, all right.
A tracking app, and I was even like, when I saw a game, it's like, okay, yeah, that one's going on the list. I go out, grab the image, and then I was putting them in order. And then as I'm going up the list, like some of the games I played again, like later on, So I tried to put all my games in order of when I last played them from, way back to now. And
That's a lot of work.
Well, they have to be put on the board in order, because you can technically move them around after you played them again. And one game, like I played it, I was like, all right, well, I'll probably go about here. And then like I played it again, I was thinking, oh yeah, that was so much better that second time I played it. So it probably bump up a little bit. So that's the kind of order I'm trying to keep it, legit, keep them in the order that they're supposed to be in. But anyway,
that's a valid point because I was going to very much meta that. Oh, now I have to look at the order.
Yeah, Carl's got all his little titles now in his hand, shuffling them around.
Carl's got a lot of updates to do, man.
All right, let me reconsider how this might work out.
Yeah, so for me, it's going to be the last time I played it is where it is in the list. So,
okay, well, take it away. I mean, the show is yours, Mike.
Oh, we're ready to go. All
yeah,
right,
I think so. Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
Going. Let me pull it up here.
Oh, you're not ready. Carlos is grabbing the marker, so he's rewriting,
rearranging.
Yeah, rearrange, redo.
Well, I got to share. How do I share my screen over here? Let me see. Present.
Present.
And share my screen. I don't even do it.
This makes for great radio, folks.
Yeah,
what you're listening to right now for the podcast is Mike staring at the screen, eyes shifting back and forth quickly as he's trying to get his display set up.
How do I do this?
Too many monitors. I'm trying to find my Excel spreadsheet here, but
if we were any more professional, I would actually edit all that out.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not. I just post it up as it is.
We don't edit.
Post up as it is.
Editing don't work so well. All right, so I'm trying to share it. So,
there we go. Hey.
All right, so just a quick recap here. We're gonna do that. Hold on a second. I'm trying to grab the screen with the video. That doesn't work so well.
So now we know your number one game already. Hey.
Yeah, well, no, I haven't put.
He hasn't added them in. He copies and pastes them.
Yeah, he does them on the fly.
So I haven't done this since April. This was
it's been a long time.
I updated
a long time, man. Damn.
And
he did not lose his thumb drive. He still has the files.
He still got it all.
It stays in the cloud.
I think we're going to do most changes to least. I'm guessing because Mike and then Wayne and then Carlos. And then I've only got one change, I think. But
I have one new game and one.
Well, do you guys want to go first?
No, we want Mike to go first.
Yeah, let's do this order.
We'll go Mike and then Carlos because I've got the second most changes, and then Wayne and then Rob.
Okay. All right, so just to recap the top 20 really quick. So starting at 20 going down to my favorite game. So Super Motherlode, Silver and Gold, Nokosu Dice, Time Stories, Brian Baru, Scythe, Big Top, which will probably be moving up, Dogs of War, Thunder Alley, Mobile Markets, Smartphone Inc. game. Number 10 is It's a Wonderful World, then Tyrants of the Underdark, Res Arcana, Century Golem Edition, Fantastic Factories, Top 5, Foundations of Rome, Unsettled, La Famiglia, The Great Mafia War, 51st State, and number 1, Vindication.
That's a good list.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is not on my list, and a lot of that is stuff that I want to play.
Yeah, you got to play Brian Baru. You got to get that one played. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
Brian is so good. If I played that again since the first I played it, it'd probably be moving up a little bit.
Yeah, if I played it, it would definitely make my top 20. I think I just haven't played it this year.
You got time off this holidays?
Yeah, I got a couple weeks.
Okay. Breakfast Gaming, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, Champions of Midgard, get it played, man, before it drops off your list. All right, so starting with the latest game that I played, Ra.
Ah, cool.
This one, I really enjoyed this one.
It's good. I almost brought it tonight, Carlos. I forgot to bring it. I was going to bring it, have me, you, and RB and Melissa maybe play it. Maybe next time.
This one is going to go, well, obviously Super Motherlode's going to be dropping off because that's number 20.
I'm sad to
Shift Elite.
And I'm going to actually take Big Top and kind of scoot it over because that one's going to get, that one's going up for sure.
Spoiler.
I would put Ra probably right above Scythe. I'm going to slide it in right where Big Top was at number 14 is where Ra is going to land.
All right.
Ra is the bidding game by Dr. K.
Reiner Knizia.
Yeah, that was my first time playing too. Actually, really, really enjoyed it. It's a
lot of fun.
Game. So that.
But let Wayne say his trademark thing
Yeah,
whenever we say
I was gonna
raw
wait to
is
see if Wayne
good.
jumped
Whenever
in there
someone
or not.
says raw is good, Wayne has a trademarked response. Go ahead, Wayne.
Oh,
Go ahead,
Raw's
say
great.
it.
Love Raw. It's great.
Medici.
But Medici. But Medici.
No, I love Raw. That's a great game. What are you talking about?
Next up on the list is-
I'm not
He
kidding
acts
you.
like it's never
Yeah,
happened
exactly.
before.
Yeah, he's played it off now. Wayne's rants.
It's tattooed on his chest, but Medici.
Yeah, let's a big top 10.
He's
All
doing
right,
all
so
kinds
next
of shuffling here.
Sleeping Gods.
Sleeping Gods. All right.
This one was, man, I got to get back to this game because it was.
We've been saying
So
that
do
for
we.
a while.
We've been saying that for about a year
Dan, myself, Rob,
Nick.
and Nick.
This one's
got-
going to be going up pretty high on my list here because I had such a good time playing this.
now. And this has a lot to do with your experience playing with your son. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm getting into the top 10 with this one.
Well, all right.
I don't know.
I
I
think
consider
this is a
I consider Res Arcana like the Rubicon.
Well, I was gonna say if it goes above Res Arcana,
like that's like you're crossing the Rubicon. Like
There
you're,
you go. That's a big line there.
Well, here's the thing. Like, revisiting this list, I'm very surprised that Century Golem was
Yeah.
above Res Arcana. And actually, I did play Res Arcana again since this time.
he's got the excuse to move
He's gonna
it.
Move it on the fly.
Yeah,
I
There
love
he
the
goes.
meta. He grabbed it.
I'm going to bump Century down.
There you go.
I'm going to bump Fantastic Factories down.
Agree. I agree.
I'm okay with
I
that.
agree.
We'll allow it.
I would.
I'm going to bump
Yeah, I would agree. I would
There you
agree.
Keep
Now
going.
we're getting into.
Well, what
now
you
we're
do
getting
is you
into
hit
rough-
right click and then you insert new picture and you put in New York 1901.
Oh.
1900.
It's
trying to
Foundations
build
of Rome. Yes.
All right.
Ooh, unsettled.
Unsettled and bumping down. I'm going to put it in right under
Ooh.
La Figlia.
All
Okay.
right. All right.
Yeah, I played again this year too, but I think that one's going to kind of fall where it needs to fall. All right.
I think Sleeping Gods is a game that I would love, but I will never play it enough to actually love it because it's you have to play it multiple times, right? It's,
You
go
do.
through a
Yeah,
campaign.
yeah.
I just never. It's never gonna get played enough for me to like really love it.
Yeah, quote unquote run of it takes about 8 hours. So
Let me jump in with some housekeeping here. What I will do right now is shut off the phone lines, folks. I am going to take out. I know we're getting to
Uh-oh.
the last hour of the show.
we got a lot to.
We had the phone lines open for almost an hour. Took a call, so it was a call-in show. But I'm enjoying this conversation.
no
Where
interruptions.
you draw the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make an
Next up,
executive decision.
So get in the chat if you want to be in the chat.
Yep. Get in the chat. We'll pull up your comments in there.
all right. Circadian's First Light. I finally got this played this
Okay.
year.
I'm not
This-
saying we won't reopen the phone lines, but right
Okay.
now I want to hear this out.
Okay. I think this is where, these games are going to start dropping off here. So, all right. I know I just put it up there, but Ra's going to get bumped down. Grab all of these, and I'm going to bump that whole list down. And First Light's going to drop right in between Dogs of War and Raw at
Okay, that's
number
about right. I think I agree with
Still
that.
has one dangling up there. It's kind of bothering me.
Dangler,
Dangler. What? This one?
Res Arcana.
Yeah,
He's
Dangler.
wondering where you're going to end up with Res Arcana.
Where's it going to go? There's
he's
no
dropping
spot.
It. He's dropping it down.
Yeah, actually, because I remember Res Arcana.
going
this- I
down?
played at a game night here, and Res Arcana, I think, was played the same night. This was the one where that one.
Oh,
Actually-
he got stomped. That's what it was.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
By that one guy, Alan. I think his name was Alan.
Damn,
like,
Alan.
How many times have you played this, Alan? I don't know, like 250 times.
Ruined it.
Alan
Show me
kinda
on this
ruined
box
game
where
for me.
Alan hurt you.
Yeah. This may bump down a little bit, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
I think Wayne called it.
That hurts my soul.
Wayne did the analogy of like when Carlos got stomped in the Scythe tournament.
Oh yeah.
Never played Scythe again. Wayne
Although I'll
called
tell, you,
it.
I'll tell you what. So I wasn't high on Resicana the one time we played in person, and I've been playing it more and more on BGA. And I'm getting the game. I know the cards more.
So good, man.
It is
And
good.
I'm like I need to play it physically so I can move it up my list again or put it back on my list because I didn't enjoy it the first couple times I played it, but as I've played it more, I'm like, okay, now I'm starting to get it.
It's good.
Do you own it, Rob?
I do
Yeah,
not,
Res is
no.
going to drop down. As much as I hate to say it, but
Nick
I think
owns
it's gonna drop in right behind Raw.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we got an Excel challenge here.
Okay. Well, I hate to see it drop, but it's staying in the raw neighborhood, which is, I would agree. I think they're both really good games.
Okay, so that takes silver and gold is going to drop off because of that.
Not that anybody cares what I think, but I'm going to keep commenting on those. So I'm going to tell you when I feel you're
The
wrong.
peanut gallery.
Yeah, exactly.
We,
All right,
we care what you think, Rob.
Oh, there we go. Thank you.
So next up is Lockup, a role player tale. This one I played. Right
What
around
is
this-
that?
Have not played this yet. That's in the dice whatchamacallit universe, right?
In the role player universe.
Role player. That's it. Not dice. Role player.
Yeah, so this one is so you have there's different rooms on a map, and you have a row of tiles with people's faces and a power on them that you're placing out on the board, and you're trying to, depending on where you are as far as how many points you have per room, you'll get resources, and then you can turn those resources, you can craft things, but there are you're allowed to put 2 tiles face down anywhere on the board, up to 2 tiles face down. So it's kind of like a little bit of a bluffing game, because there is a guy that has a 0 power, but then there's a guy that is based off of how many red cubes you have on your board is how much power he has. So it's just a fun game. I had a really good time. I liked it so much I went out and bought it when they had the sale during Black Friday. And very fun game, because there's this whole bluffing portion of it, but it's not a full bluff game. So this one I am...
While you're thinking here, let me jump in with one thing. Well, we were kind of remiss here that we did not explain to the crowd, in case we have new watchers or listeners tonight, exactly what we're doing. We just kind of referenced we were jumping straight to our top 20 list. So I know we say it every time we touch on this list, but just real quick, real brief. So this top 20 list is top 20 games that we have played this year. This is not our all-time top 20. This is it's based entirely on the fun that we had the last time we played this game. Once we play a game, we get to put it in our top 20 list. You cannot move the game on your top 20 list unless you play it again. So this all started January 1st of this year, 2023. We're going to close this list out at the end of the year, December 31st, and it's just going to be a tracking of games that we've played in the last year in 2023 of our ranking of enjoyment of them. And enjoyment is a completely open to your own interpretation, whether they're just your favorite all-time games, whether they're heavy, crunchy games, whether you just played with a good crowd and had a good experience with a game that may not be touted as a top game of all time. But that's what we're doing here. And so, again, as Mike's moving these around, he's only moving games or reseeding games that he's played since the last time he did his list, which was in April. The rest of us have done our list a little more recently, so we'll have a little less movement probably. But anyway, that's what we're doing here. But there it goes. Yep. So lockup number 11.
Lockup, in between It's a Wonderful World and Mobile Market. So it's going to drop in at 11 just because of how much fun I had while I was playing that at the time. So, man, it's funny that some of these games I got to play some of these games so I can take them off my list.
Just get rid of them. Carlos and I kind of said that tonight.
I'm just kind of waiting for the new year to roll around, and then I get to reset my list.
So that's going to kill Nokosu Dice off the list, unfortunately.
It's hard to watch some of these games. Fall off.
Ponzi scheme. This one I played around the same time I played Lockup, and this one, oh man, I paid way more for this game than I probably should have.
Not that that's going to factor into your ranking decision?
Yeah, I think that this is actually going to... Man, can't believe some of these games are this high. It's kind of crazy.
I can look at my board and say the same thing.
I've got a couple that I want to play again to take them down.
That must have been a really fun night.
Yeah.
I think what we've learned this year is, though, like games you play at the beginning of the year, you only have so many games to rank, right? It takes month of January to get 20 games. Yeah, you're going to rank some games really high that later on, like 5 months later, you're like, I need to play this game again because this should not be in my top 20 anymore. But I love the rule of it was the enjoyment you had at the time. I've struggled a couple of times this year with games that are really high on my list. I'm like, God, I really don't like that game anymore. I guess I got to play it again.
Ponzi Scheme making the top 10.
Ponzi Scheme is dropping in at number 10 in
at least
between
for the moment.
Tyrants and It's a Wonderful World. God, Man, I wish I lived in Florida so I could play this game with you guys. I would love to introduce this game because I think you would. I think you guys would enjoy it.
We'll have opportunities.
Yeah, it's if I can make it out the Dice Tower East, this is one of the games that I definitely want to play with you guys.
Let's do it.
You gotta make it out, man.
What is it like? What is Ponzi Scheme?
So Ponzi Scheme is you're trying to basically survive not going bankrupt. And it's based off of a Ponzi scheme. You're floating money every round and trying to collect different industry tiles. So the first part of the round is there's a board with 3 rows on it, and you can, when you take a card, the cards are out there on the board, and basically you take a card, and for argument's sake, this card will give you $11, but in 4 days you have to pay back 10 of it.
Oh God.
So you would pull that card, you put it on, there's like a little tracker that you have, each person has, and you put it on the day, you collect your money, and then everybody goes around, does that. And you're also pulling an industry tile and putting it in front of you. So there's 4 different colors. And once everybody does that, that's the first part of the round. The second part of the round is starting with the first player. You're going to put money in a leather wallet. And this is one of the only games where paper money actually works with it. You secretly are putting an amount of money in this wallet, and you can only target somebody that has the same color industry tile that you currently have in front of you. So if I have a red one in front of me, and let's say Wayne has a red one in front of him, and I want his tile, because those tiles are going to be, they incrementally are worth more money the more tiles you have of that industry. And I'll put money in the wallet, and I hand it over to Wayne, and I'll say, I want your red tile. And Wayne's going to secretly look inside the wallet, look at the amount of money, and he's going to decide right then one of 2 things. He can either take the money, secretly take the money and give me the red tile, or he's going to put the same amount. Like if I gave Wayne $5, he has to put $5 in there and hands it back to me and says, actually, I'm going to be buying your tile.
And you have to give it to him.
Oh,
right. So there's a constant, and once you go one round, the new cards are being put out on the board, and sometimes it gets to like these crazy amounts. Like you can borrow $150, but you're going to have to pay back, X amount in 2 days or something crazy like that. So once you go one
you're
round,
really feeling strapped. You're feeling the pressure, the need to get
the Ponzi scheme,
that
right? And the fact that you have no idea how much money people have because your money is kept behind the screen. You don't know if I gave Wayne $5 or $50 on that deal, or if Wayne gave me back, what. So this exchange of money is always going on. And the one thing that I love about this game is every single tile, every single time you play the game, the value is different. There's no set value on anything in this game. And then, once everybody does that, and then the day clocks ahead 1, and then the first player marker goes to the next person, and now you're borrowing money again and floating it for the next round.
You got to rob Peter and start paying Paul.
Exactly. So it'll also get to the point where, one person is ahead, another person, because if you're running out of money and somebody's trying to buy you out or whatever, you can borrow money from somebody else. Like you can say, can you give me X amount of money so I can make it to the next round to prevent so-and-so from winning the game. Usually it only goes about 4 or 5 rounds before somebody goes bankrupt, and you just can't, nobody's got money and one person's got more money. But anyway, it's just...
Okay, so something that I heard you talk about in there that kind of made me say, oh, is the idea of trying to value the tile in front of someone else.
Right.
To try to figure out what's that line of what I'm willing to pay.
Bingo.
But not low enough that they're also willing to pay that.
Bingo.
Like I got to get it where like it's just enough for Wayne to say it's too rich for my blood, but it's okay for me. Because if I go too far, then I've lost the game. I've overpaid.
Right.
Finding that line sounds hard.
And after a while, you kind of for argument's sake, because there could be 3 or 4 people at the table that have the same color tiles in front of them. And, somebody will try and buy the tile off of so-and-so. Well, they hand the wallet back. They're not selling it. Well, now they gave away some money. So they're even lower on cash. So eventually that other person's going to be like, I got to start collecting cash on my side. So you can actually make them like these lowball
The lowballing
offers, and they have to take it because they can't give you the money back.
Because they have two options: either give you the money,
Right,
or
take the money.
take it because you have to.
I'm going to offer you $51. I'm going to offer $51 for it because I know you have 45. You can't even pay me what I offer you.
And the first time you play the game, the first time you get handed the wallet and somebody's like, all right, I want your green tile, and you look and it's like $20, and you're like, is this worth the green tile? I have no idea. And it kind of makes it enjoyable the first time you play because you really have no idea what the value is of any of these tiles at that point. But once you get one full game in, then you're like, okay, I know how to play this game the next time. And
I'm in for a play of this.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
This
yeah,
sounds,
I think you guys would like it.
sounds emotional.
There's some tough moments where you're just like, you keep looking in the wallet and you're like, oh.
I can see having $49 and you offer me 50 for something, knowing that I can't do anything about it and I have to hand it over to you. That,
or if somebody's like, I'll give you $30 and you've got 40 and you're like, man, I'm going to be giving them most of my money this round, and then I'm not going to have anything to offer somebody else to try and make that deal, And then you start taking crazy amounts of cards, like, I really need that $97 because I got to pay back the bank 30 this round or next round, but I still need a tile from this. It's so good, man. It's a shame that it was a TMZ game, which isn't in, they're not around anymore. So the game is out of print. You can't buy it. Okay.
What
so
else
anyway,
you got, Mike? Yep.
So that kills Time Stories, which is fine. I'm probably going to play that again soon. But anyway, it's funny. Like some of these games I already put on here are going to be get taken off the list.
Brian Baru already at 20.
Yeah. Let me see. Orem. I've played that. All right. Big Top is going to be next because I know I played this last before Orem. And Big Top is a good one. This one, I always want to play this game.
he's just moving it up because he got the metal coins now.
No. This is, other than, Ponzi Scheme is kind of like a bidding game, auction game, but Big Top is probably one of my favorites. I am going to drop this.
This isn't the one where you're like putting on circuses in small towns or big towns and
that's Three
Rings.
That's Three Ring Circus.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, I haven't played that game yet.
Big Top was was not a trick taker, is it, or was it a trick taker?
It's a small box auction bidding game.
Auction bidding. That's right. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the theme is you're creating your circus.
This is the one you talked about where you can see what other people are trying to do, and you can play the numbers. They're trying to fill numbers in on the cards.
Right.
And, yep. Okay.
With the coins and
Yep.
So that one's going to drop in at number 6 between Unsettled and Foundations of Rome.
That's
and
pretty high up
Well,
for
for a little small box
$20 small
Yeah.
box game.
It's so good, and it plays quick, and it's real easy to teach. It may take you a game or two to get your strategy down, but it's super easy to teach. You can get through a game in probably 30 to 40 minutes.
And you said Dice Tower didn't like this one so much.
Yeah, I don't know. Those guys don't know what they're talking about.
Of course.
I agree after today.
All right.
Your issues with Planet or with Earth? I mean,
Yeah, Earth. Yeah, I
Earth,
don't
yeah,
get
no.
it, man.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't get that.
Every
either.
one of them was like, Earth is the greatest game of 2023. I'm like, it's
Nope.
not that good.
Nope.
Okay, Orem is next. This is a trick taker. Must not follow trick taker. I've been touting this game for.
It's the one with the gold cards.
Yep.
Yes,
That move
This is another
around.
one that
It
I wanna
sounds
play
so
with you
awesome.
This one, it's hard because this is just like you think, oh, that's a trick taker, but as crazy as it sounds,
Orem versus Big Top.
I think I'm going to put it above Unsettled just by
Oh,
how much fun I had playing this game and teaching
it
it.
hurts.
I
I know
gotta give Mike respect for having like smaller games or
Yeah.
trick takers
It's a
that
thing.
high, because my list has skewed like where all of the smaller games have just been pushed down.
Yeah.
Like
That means Scythe is coming off the list. Wow.
I know.
I think Chad Stilson is going to have a fit in the chat.
Oh, I haven't even been looking in the chat, man. That's kind of, I can only imagine what people are saying right now.
Scythe and Brian Baru.
Wow, that's rough.
Ryan Baru. All right, next game. I think I only have a couple left. Oh man, this war of mine. It's
You
getting
taught me this one.
tougher,
Another game Mike taught me.
Federation, Pagan, and Zermatt.
Damn.
Are they all making the list?
I don't know. I these were the ones that I figured would make my list.
And then the list moved.
Yeah, I'm gonna move just to make it
Federation
some
might
sense.
have to get up there, man.
Federation. is
Gosh,
definitely
those go
gonna-
on though. Res Arcana comes off. Raw comes off.
That'll shake my whole
No,
world. Like, I came in this room and things were okay.
Yeah, you just put Raw on. How can it come off?
Because I haven't played it in so long. All right, Pagan is very questionable. This one, which I'll get to eventually. This is so tough, man. Do you guys want to take over for a little bit? Do
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
think about it?
You need to rethink your life choices.
All right.
These are, yeah, this is going to be tough. All right, so you
All right,
get.
Carlos,
Yeah,
jump in there.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
We have a good shot of the big board.
Glad
Or do you need me to
I'm
come
so
hold it up?
nervous about moving these games around.
We don't have a shot of the big shot, but we can read.
I'll move it
I can
over.
read
You
too.
can read and I'll-
There's no camera for it. I got it.
Rob could be your Vanna.
It's he's gonna hold it. What the hell?
He's a Vanna White.
Let's see here. All right. Here's my okay. I see. He's gonna help me here. Here's my board. All right, Carlos. My top 20 as it stands. I think my last update may have been August. Number 1, Clash of Cultures. Number 2, Brass Birmingham. Number 3, Castles of Burgundy. 4, Concordia. 5, Mosaic. 6, Cascadia. 7, Crusaders That Will Be Done. 8, Undaunted. 9, Viticulture. 10, Tyrants of the Underdark. 11, Quacks of Quedlinburg. 12, Manhattan Project. Energy Empire. 13, Gizmos, praise be. 14, Lost Ruins of Arnak. 15, Smartphone Inc. 16, Furnace. 17, Dune Imperium. 18, Ethnos. 19, Hadara. And 20, Quartermaster General. Right off the bat, I know I'm adding 4 games, so we're just going to go ahead and pluck these 4 off. Hadara, Quartermaster General, Ethnos, and Dune Imperium. Goodbye.
You're crazy.
I've got 4 games to add, bro, and
Crazy.
some of these are making some big moves.
Any of the 4 that you're adding are not better than Hadara or Lost or Dune. You're out.
Oh,
You're out of
see,
control.
right off the bat,
This is anarchy.
So Carlos is saying he should just give me his copy of Hadara then. That's what I'm.
oh no, it's in my top 25. It's all right. Let's slide all this stuff down because we are getting into we're getting into the top 10s with these titles.
With all 4 of them?
Maybe.
Wow.
Maybe. All right. Newest title to join the list is going to be General Orders, World War II, and this one's going in at 15. So 15 General Orders, World War II, light, fast, but very tactical. Like the idea of how they compress this much war game into such a small box, I love it. Quacks is going to 14. Tyrants is going to 13. And this is where it starts to get tough because I really do like viticulture. I really do enjoy viticulture. I'm going number 12, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. It's coming on the board. It wasn't a hit the first time I played it, but I've had multiple plays since then. And getting into the garage, playing more of the game, I'm really enjoying the system that Heat has chosen to build here. I think Rob agrees.
It's higher on your list. Not that surprising. It's not high.
I haven't had a chance to get the weather and the press box, and the campaign pieces played yet. It has room to grow. 2024, you'll see it go top of the list real fast. Then we get to viticulture, going to 11. Undaunted has been played multiple times since the last time it made this list. And now with the solo AI, it really does bring this bad boy up. Crusaders going to 10. Cascadia going to 9. Oh, 5. It's going 5 right now. Undaunted is moving to 5 from the recent plays. But don't let that fool you, because it is coming down to 7.
Oh, geez.
Concordia is going to 6. We're getting into the realm of the good stuff. Castle's going to 5. Shush, Wayne.
Crazy. Crazy.
A big one's coming.
Oh, yeah.
You're out of control, Carlos.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Terraforming Mars, number 4.
Get it.
I think I got like 4 plays last month alone. And it's like, why does this game not get played enough? Like, this is, and I don't mean Ares Expedition, just classic Terraforming Mars. And then number 3, Memoir 44. It's in my top 3. That game got played. I went to the War Game Convention, got to play it, triggered the love for the game again, got to play it some more. And it's like, it's in my top favorite games, period.
That makes
Memoir 44.
That makes sense.
Brass Birmingham is staying at 2, and then Clash of Cultures is 1. There's my updated list.
All right.
I have no apologies for. I mean, Hadara's good. Hadara's good, but it is light for a Civ game, right? So Clash of Cultures would beat that any day. I'd play Memoir over Quartermaster General any day, and then Dune Imperium is about time for it to go bye-bye. About time.
Nope, not gonna happen.
My only regret is I actually have not played Dune this year. I have gone all year without playing that game, and that would be, I know. As next week we're playing it, so I can go my top.
Let's play it.
2.
You can have my magnetic strip.
Anytime.
Here,
I will take it.
You can have it.
That's going right to the top, man. Or not top, but like top 5.
It's not right, Carlos. Not right.
All right, there's the Beans update. Mike, how you doing over there? Still want somebody else to go? Is it really hurting over there?
Do you guys have more to do?
Well, Wayne's going, and then
That
I'm
was
going,
it
but
for me.
You want to jump back in before Wayne and I?
Are you ready?
One more, you guys go. I'm putting mine on.
I'll literally be a minute because I don't have
I'm
much.
getting them ready here.
It feels like we're in the car at Taco Bell, putting in our 4 separate orders.
Yep.
You order. I'll be ready by the time you're done.
We have to keep coming back to Mike.
I kind of want to
So,
hear what you're getting before I decide what I'm getting.
Mike wants another one.
Yeah, so my list hasn't really changed much. What's interesting is I think since October, most of the games I played have been family games because we've had a lot of holiday. You've had Thanksgiving, you've had Halloween, and now whatever. So I played a lot of lighter games with my family. Not quite that would meet my top 20. So really, my number 20 is actually a game that fell off my list several times this year. Barren Park keeps coming back on multiple times. So that's one of the 2 changes to my list for the last 2 months has been Barren Park has come back on my list at number 20.
Nice.
It just hits the table. I played a little bit of the expansions, the Bad News Bears. It kind of keeps hitting the table, and it's one that people love. Number 19, Wingspan. It says Wingspan Asia, but just Wingspan in general. Enjoy the game, and it gets played a lot. Number 18, Great Split, still on my list. Loving it. Love the BGA implementation. It's really easy to play.
I want to play that.
This is
It's good.
It's really good. It's fast. It's very light. In that it's just you have cards. It's really good. Tracks. I'm surprised at how much I love this game, but I think it really just It's a game that plays so well at like 6-7 players. I go back to Dice Tower East. We played it with 7 of us, and we were done in 45 minutes, and it was just
wow,
quick. Yeah,
that's impressive.
really good. Yep,
It's good.
One of my all-time favorites, Medici.
But Medici.
But Rob.
But Medici.
Ra. I really do like Rob, but I think Medici's a better game. Right? And Carlos, I want to play this with you because I want. You haven't played it yet, Carlos.
I haven't played Raw either.
You haven't played either one?
All right, so
Oh,
we got to do a breakfast
all right, well, here
day.
we go.
Like whatever,
Yeah.
when
So
you guys,
Blood
because I have
Rage.
time off right now.
Yeah,
So
Blood
whenever
Rage.
you two have a morning off,
I'm off from now until January, so
we get
I'm
some
sorry.
Mickey D's.
I can bring. I have Medici and I have Hollywood Blockbuster Drum Fabric. So I have 2 of the 3 of the games, and so really have Raw, the Hollywood Blockbuster Drum Fabric, and Medici are his 3 like auction bidding games. We could crank them out and enjoy it. So,
Yep.
Number 16, 5 Tribes. I really like this game. Would love to play it more often. I love the Moncala of it.
I need to play with you and Nick. You and Nick both love this game, and I played it twice, and I do not get it, but I got to play it again.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. So here, Hadara is
There you
a
go.
new addition to my list.
It's a good one.
I've played it several times in person this year. Played it a ton now on BGA. This is to me. I want to get a copy of Hadara, and then I will get rid of my copy of Seven Wonders. Like I have Seven Wonders with all the expansions. This is a replacement for me. Like I talk about how like I'm at the point in my game collection where really kind of when I'm adding games, I'm thinking about what games I'm getting rid of. So if when I add Hadara to my collection, my 5 tribes will go on the get rid of pile. So there you go.
As I watched it fall off my list.
Yeah, right.
Come off of yours, goes on yours, off of Carlos's.
So the rest of my list is unchanged, but Bunny Kingdom, love it. I believe this is going to be under my Christmas tree, so I will own my own physical copy soon.
Nice.
So number 14, Bunny Kingdom. Number 15, First Rat. Love it. Great game. Carlos, a game you haven't played yet either. Again,
Still need to play.
I think you'll like it.
So simple.
Yeah, so simple, but a lot of fun, a lot of different kind of tracks and movement and how to min-max it. So it's great. The Manhattan Project Energy Empire. I now own a physical copy of this game because I enjoyed it so much.
Number 12 on my list currently. Yeah.
Yeah, they had 12 on my list.
Oh, you got a match.
Yeah, you got a match.
Crossover.
Mr.
Like Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse.
Yeah.
We all.
That's blast from the past.
Kyle, Mr. G's pointed out a wonderful bookstore, game store in upstate New York. Yeah, they have like 10 copies of this game. So if anyone's looking for a copy of Manhattan Project and Energy Empire, there's they have like 10 or 15 copies of it for retail, basically $50, but $49.99 plus shipping. So it's really good.
There you go, Aaron. I agree.
Quaxaquedlinburg, my number 11. That went way too fast.
Oh,
spoiler alert.
Yeah, Quaxaquedlinburg, Tyrants in the Dark. These are, I think, Quacks. I'm getting both expansions for Christmas this year, which is
so good. Tyrants is up there near the top 10 on all of our lists, I think.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Yeah, it's such a good game. Raiders of the North Sea, which I think before the show I was even talking with Mike. Raiders of the North Sea and Lords of Waterdeep are kind of very similar to me. I haven't played Lords this year, but I think it'd be really hard for me to figure out where Raiders of the North Sea and Lords of Waterdeep would go on my list because I love both of those.
Have you played Raiders of Scythia yet?
I have not. No, I have not played that one.
I own that one. It's kind of like a streamlined version. I think you'd like that. We may have to try that sometime too. It's fun.
All right, cool. All right, add that to the list. Yeah, Mansions of Madness, always a classic. My wife and I love playing this one. We love the cooperative Cthulhu-based games, so this is one that always hits the table. Obsession. God, I love this game. Such a good game. I've played it a bunch this year. I went out and spent a lot of money buying the entire game and all the expansions and all the promos and just did the Kickstarter for their coins and expansion. And it's just a great game. And I have yet to play it. I've said it several times that I can't wait to play it with my wife and my sister-in-law, who are big, like, that Downton Abbey, upstairs, downstairs fans. So they're going to love this game. And I just really am digging Obsession.
11 on my list. Yep.
Yep. Number 6, Stone Age. Love it. Classic worker placement game. Playing it to death. Number 5, Lost Ruins of Arnak. I can't wait to get the expansion, the campaign expansion. Play that.
Wait till we play Dune. You'll have to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, Dune would push. Let's see. Barron Park would fall back off my list if I played.
Oh yeah, there you go.
It's made of rubber.
Short lived.
It keeps coming. Yeah, short lived. Concordia, still one of my all-time favorite games. Love that game to death. Comic Hunters, still right up there. Carlos,
meteoric rise to the top.
We are playing that game next week. I'm coming over.
All right, let's do it.
We're good because it will hit your top 20. Guaranteed.
Game number 7. Yep, bring it.
Brass Birmingham. Clearly my number 2 of all time. Love the great game. And then always and forever, Castles of Burgundy will be my number 1. So
all right. So let me ask you this about Castles of Burgundy. Do you think that it's staying at number 1 because it's more of like just a longtime favorite of yours, or is it like really still sitting at number 1 because there just isn't anything that you've played thus far that can top it?
So there are Castle Burgundy, Brass, Comic Hunters, Concordia, Dune. I could name probably 10 or 15 games that are all like, these are my favorite games of all time. Mm-hmm. Right. And so how I rank them is tough. So I would probably give deference to Castles because it's been the game I've been playing the longest.
I feel that.
Right?
I feel that.
Right. So like, if you literally put in front of me Castles, Brass, Concordia, Dune, right? Lords of Waterdeep, whatever.
You
Say,
skipped Comic Hunters.
Comic Con. Well, I'm thinking the Comic Hunters is a little lighter, but yeah, Comic Hunters find even Obsession, right? Stone Age, whatever.
Yeah.
And say pick one. I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Well, which one do you think you would have the most fun with? Because I will love every one of these.
Yeah.
So, so Castles is my number one game because I've played it since it came out and I've loved it. And I get tired of some games. Like there are games that I'm just like, I don't really want to play that anymore. I played it enough, right?
Yeah, I know
These games I'm not tired of, and Castles has been the longest. I've had it since it came out, and I've played it, never tired of it ever. Like I've always wanted to play that game. So
always a good time.
That's why it's my number one, I think, and that's why it still beats it now. Maybe 5 years from now or 10 years from now, if Dune or Brass hit that, then maybe they overtake it. But yeah, they're all so close. It's really just kind of like splitting hairs at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like asking you which of your 5 kids is your favorite. It's like,
Right. Yeah. That's why I only have one, because
there you go. No competition.
All right. So I'm going to pull mine back up here real quick. And you.
Oh, I got you. Let me add you.
All right.
There we go.
So I am going to be adding 4 more. So unfortunately,
Wow.
I don't know where he went. He went, said a prayer, lit a candle.
Circadians is coming off. Raw's coming off.
Res Arcana and Raw. Wow.
Dogs of War.
so
He
two
lashed
games
himself, you know.
I mean, didn't you just say the Circadians was like your favorite Shem Phillips game?
It is one of my favorites.
So you hate Shem Phillips. I see how it is. All right.
Not even in the top 20.
I love your games, but I hate you, Shem.
So I'm just going to delete those 4, unfortunately. Dogs
That's
of
crazy.
War, I haven't played recently. I know.
All right, for the folks listening at home, we're back to Mike's list, and we're back at the bottom of his list, his bottom 4, so 17, 18, 19, and 20, which are in order: Dogs of War, Circadian's First Light, Raw, and Res Arcana. The last few episodes have been a hype fest for Dogs of War, Res Arcana, and we just brought in Raw. Like Raw just showed up to the party
Raw
today.
and Circadians, yeah.
You know, and now he's hitting the delete key. You can probably hear the click.
Well, it's
there it goes.
I haven't played Dogs of War in so long, and even though it is a Grail game, and I finally acquired it, it will. I know as soon as I play it again, it's going to be one of those games that just jumps way high on the list for me again. Hopefully, it is. All right, so I'm adding 4 more. I'm going to try and do this quick because I know we're probably getting close on time here.
Well, we got Rob left, and Rob's got one game.
Mine's quick. But yeah.
Okay, all right.
So
you got about 10 minutes.
I'm really not working tomorrow. Carlos isn't working tomorrow.
I'm not working tomorrow.
Yeah, we got time.
All right. So I've got 4 more games that I'm adding, and I've kind of put them in the order of where they're going to fall in order. So, Robo Trick being at the bottom, I'm going to probably put that. Well, Thunder Alley and Mobile Markets are definitely moving down to 19 and 20. I know, Thunder Alley, man.
Thunder Alley came off your list. I'd just write it off right now.
I need the right group to play it with because
You got to get back to Dice Tower.
Wasn't
I
Dan
know.
going to run a Thunder Alley League online? We need to like.
Yeah,
Oh,
you talked about it. Yeah.
Okay, so Robo Trick.
Those are some of my best moments from COVID.
Oh yeah.
Was the leagues that we ran of Thunder Alley. Those are some of the. I still see GIFs today that I just die laughing, and because it reminds me of our Thunder Alley.
TTS on Tabletop Simulator. Yep.
All right,
Back
so
to your
Robo
list, sorry.
Trick, because I haven't.
18.
This is one of my favorite trick taking games, but I haven't played it enough where I can justify it going way higher up on my list. So I feel comfortable with it being at 18, right above Mobile Markets, and probably going to be in between. Yeah, in between Lockup and Mobile Markets. I don't think it's going to go any higher than that.
Cult of the New.
Yeah. Zermatt, which I think you would love, Carlos. Zermatt Counterinsurgency is it's not necessarily a war game, but it is kind of. So it's the coalition versus the Taliban during, I forget which war it was, but anyway, it's more about powers per tile. And you make your own map, like you're drafting tiles, and then you take turns placing your tiles out to create the map. And there's roads that lead to each tile, and some of them are just dead ends, or some of them, as you're moving your guys through, you have to stop to end your turn on those tiles to move forward. But the one mechanic that I absolutely love about this game is it's only it's a 2-player game. Each person has a bag with 50 tokens in it. Half the tokens have a power, like a +1 or whatever you want to call it. And the other half are worth 0. But the backs on all of them, from yours and the person you're playing against, the backs are all identical. And it's more about spreading propaganda. So it's kind of like your cubes represent, your faction. And as you're moving through here, you can place these. You're spreading propaganda with the villagers, I guess, or of the people. Of
yeah,
the
you're
land.
winning hearts and minds.
Right. So each round, you're drawing X number of these tokens out of your bag, and you're looking at them secretly, and you know which ones have power and which ones don't. But then you start placing them on the board face down, and until you try to take over a tile, you don't flip them all over. Like you don't flip them to whether it's a blank or a power side. But the cool thing is that your opponent has the same back. So as you get into the game a little while, you forget who owns which tokens on that tile. And you're like, oh man, well, I've got a few guys in there. I know I've got a power of 3 or 4 of my cubes, but I forget how many of his tokens are on that tile, and I forget how many of my tokens are on this tile. But you don't even know if they've been, if they're even worth any value that the other person's been putting on there. So it's this constant second guessing yourself of, has my propaganda spread to this area where I can actually take control of it? And it's more of that type of game than an actual militaristic, war type game. And it's this indie title. Like, I mean, when you look at it, you're like, this guy printed it out, probably. It does have some special dice that you do roll, but the box itself, you can tell like the guy glued the label on. It's done really, really indie like. If you ever get a chance to play this game, I would highly, highly recommend it, because I know you would like it, Carlos. And it's not even, I know you're more of a war gamer, but it's not even more of the war game. It's just this mentality with the war mixed into it a little bit.
Yeah, the reviews are talking about it more of a take on the coin system, the counterinsurgency system,
right?
That you'll find from like GMT games, Cuba Libre, Fire on the Lake, those coin Root. For those of you, I know we got some Root chat going on.
Yep. So even though I only played this once, it was my most recent play, and I really, really like this game. I'm getting into the tough ones now. So it's going above It's a Wonderful World. I'm going to drop it at I'm going to drop it at 15. I don't think it's quite as good as I played Ponzi Scheme a few more times than this, but I have a feeling if I played this more, Zermatt, it would go higher on my list. But from the one play, I think it bumped up pretty good. All right, next, last two are Federation and This War of Mine. Federation, I've been touting about this game. I think it's probably going to be a sleeper for a little while before anybody kind of catches on to it. But this one, I think this one is going to, it's going above Unsettled. So I think it's going to make number 6 here. Uh-oh, I think I just screwed something up there. Let's see. Nope. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to put it above Unsettled and below Orem. Orem is still a killer game, but Federation is going to slip right in at number 6. And I have a feeling that could, for me, that's more of a slow burn that could go higher. Because you really do need the right group to play. And I've been playing with the right group. Okay, This War of Mine. I'm just going to get these games ready to scroll down again. Because This War of Mine is one of those games where I've played it so many times. I've never beat it, and I don't care. I just love the game that much. And it's been different every single time I've played it, where I haven't come across the same. It's one of those games where, in a certain part of the game, it'll say, go to the book and turn to this number. I still have not come across the same numbers all the times that I've ever played this game. I may have read like one passage, twice out of all the times I've played it. And the funny thing is this is one of the few games that I actually enjoy playing solo. And I think it's because the subject matter is sometimes a pretty big downer for people. It's kind of hard.
I think Rob went into counseling after playing his game.
Yeah, you taught me, and I forget who it was that played with me. Was it my daughter or my son? One of us. And yeah, it was something.
I remember playing it with you, Rob. It was like we got to a point, and Rob was like, "Okay, all right, we're not doing so bad." I'm like, "Rob, just wait, man.
Just wait, it's coming.
Our ass is handed to us. I just know it."
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And then when one person, we had a team of like 4 people, and then when one person went south, it affected everybody else, and everybody else went south. Yep.
Yeah. So this is gonna make. It's getting into the top 3 here.
Whew. Wow.
All right.
I played the video game a hot second, and it was really depressing. So I can't imagine playing the board game.
Oh yeah.
Well,
we were doing so
way
good.
that they adapted it to a board game is just amazing. It's just that good of a game. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. This is how I feel at this time.
Whoa.
It's jumping up to number 2.
51st State. Woo.
Yeah, it's going to be above 51st State and below Vindication.
Oh, that really hurts me. I mean, I liked This War of Mine, and I'd love to play it again, but 51st State, that's...
Well, I haven't played 51st State in a long time.
Okay.
It is one of my favorite... 51st State is one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
But...
All right.
I would pick with This War of Mine over 51st State pretty much every time because, I just know how good of a game. All right, anyway. So, to recap really quick. So, my 20 to number 1, a lot has changed on here. So, going down, Thunder Alley, Mobile Market's a smartphone game. Robo Trick, Lock Up, A Role Player's Tale. It's a Wonderful World, Zermatt, Ponzi Scheme, Tyrants of the Underdark, Century Golem Edition, Fantastic Factories, Foundations of Rome, Big Top, Unsettled, Federation, Aurum, Top 5, Sleeping Gods, La Famiglia, A Great Mafia War, 51st State. That kind of killed Rob there. This War of Mine, and Vindication still sitting at number 1 because that's another one that I'd play over pretty much any other game.
That's a good one.
All right.
That's my list. You see a lot of beautiful games on your list, and then you get to Varmut. And it's like, it must be something to be on that list, competing with all these beautiful games.
Zermatt?
Zermatt. I don't know how it's pronounced, but Zurmat.
I was looking it up online. It is an ugly game.
It's ugly. And when my friend first got it, he was like, I'm so excited to play this game. I'm looking at it like, oh my God, dude, this is going to be a waste of time. And then he finally got it played, and he's like, I know you're going to love this game. Please, let's just try it. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'll play whatever one time. And this was like, remember, Rob, when you and Mo and I, when I showed you guys First Light for the first time, like
yeah.
Like 2 or 3 times during the game, you and Mo, individually just looked it up and said, this is such a good game.
Yeah. I think I was playing a war game or something across the room.
Oh, you were?
I would look over and Rob's like, you're going to like this.
Yes. Yep. You gotta play this. Yep.
That is how I felt about Zermatt, where more than once during the game, I looked up and I was like, this is such a good game. And he's like, isn't it so good? I can't believe it's so good. From from the production quality of it, it's just, it's way up there. So anyway,
good stuff.
That's my list.
Mike's 20.
Save it.
All right. No, now this is going to be, I hate going last now because I have such little to change, but let me just run over it. So I'll go bottom to top here. So my list, number 20, welcome to Shogun 19, Ethnos 18, Res Arcana 17, Tapestry 16.
Wait, hold on a second. Res Arcana, is that low on your list? How is that possible?
Yeah, well, it's going to stay on my top 20. It's not going to fall off, exactly. Tapestry 16. Trajan 15, Destinies 14, Unsettled 13, Manhattan Project Energy Empire 12, Obsession is 11, Thunder Alley 10, Aquatica 9, Dune Imperium 8, Tyrants of the Underdark 7, Concordia 6, Endeavor Age of Sail number 5, Mosaic 4, Blood Rage 3, Orleans 2, and Brass Birmingham number 1. Over here on the side, everybody keeps asking about these. These were the 2-player games that I pulled off that had been on my list, but I didn't feel it was right to put the 2-player games on here, and so we had talked at one point about doing a separate list, maybe a top 10 of 2 players. Maybe we'll do that in the new year, but I had Hanamakoji and Seven Wonders Duel were on my top 20 previously, but I kind of pulled them off and set them aside. So, all right, I'm going to do it this way. I said I'm going to add one. I'm actually going to kind of add 2, but one's going to immediately fall off. So number 20, Welcome to, was going to come off here no matter what. So let me peel off Welcome to. Great game, fun game. Play that with anybody. Awesome. I mean, it gets painful to take them off here at this point, but for a very short, hot second here, Heat, Pedal to the Metal, is going to go on my list, back on my list. This is a return, because this was off of my list, and I've played it a couple times since then, and I'm liking it more and more each time I play it. But Heat is back on the list at number 20. No, it's not. Here, see this? It's gone. It was on there for a hot second, but it's gone again.
It was hot. Now it's cold.
Exactly. So
it did make my top 20.
I just wanted to remind people that it's kind of right there. It's simmering right there at the 21 spot. But the big one that I'm adding, Carlos gave me the opportunity to play this again, and it just hit his list, Terraforming Mars. I've talked about this game for years, since well before we started the show 3 years ago. Again, congratulations, Carlos, on the 3 years. It's been a fun ride. But yeah, we did it. 3 years. Let's go 3 more at least. But a lot of these are going to start moving here. So Shogun is going to come to 20, Ethnos at 19, Res Arcana is going to slide to 18. Actually, I don't probably need to call all these out, but Tapestry, Trajan, Destinies, Unsettled, Manhattan Project, Obsession. We're going to keep going. Thunder Alley is going to 11. Aquatica is going to 10. Dune Imperium is going to slide off temporarily because I did replay that, so I'm actually going to make a change here. But Dune Imperium is going to sit over here for a second. Tyrants of the Underdark is going to slide to 9. Concordia down to 8. Endeavor to 7. Endeavor Age of Sail to 7. Dune Imperium is going to, you know what? Mosaic is going to slide. Mosaic's going to go to 6. Dune Imperium, even though it just fell off Carlos's list, is going to hit me at 5. That's going to be in my top 5, and it's going to, barring some changes.
Any specific expansions?
No, I just played basic Dune Imperium.
Dune Imperium
No expansions. Yep, played it with my kids, and the experience there with my kids, I think, probably helped a little bit. But Dune Imperium's still a great game, so that's sliding up to 5. Barring any changes here in the next couple of weeks, that may end up in my top 5. Blood Rage is going to slide to 4.
Mr. Beast approves of number 5 for Dune Imperium.
Does he? Okay, awesome. So Terraforming Mars, here we go. We're getting to the big 3. So Brass Birmingham is 1. I believe Brass Birmingham is going to stay at 1. Orleans at number 2. And Terraforming Mars. This is such a tough call for me. I mean, these are such different games.
The only family game video you did, right?
I know. All right, now you're swinging me. Now you're swaying me back the other way. I am going to put Terraforming Mars number 3. That's where it's going to hit me, number 3. So Carlos and I played this. We played with none of the expansions except for Prelude. We threw Prelude in there. We just played with all the base box stuff. We didn't draft. We played it without the draft. My preference is definitely with the draft, but we played it at 2 players. We just wanted to see, without being overly speedy, we weren't trying to rush through the game, but we wanted to just see in one night, playing it semi-casually, but trying to keep it moving along, how quickly we could do it. I think we did it in well under 2 hours.
Players, right?
Was it 3? Did we play 3 maybe? Okay, maybe it was 3 of us. Yeah, we did. It was 3 players. Sorry, I forgot. Yeah, Melissa played with us. But we played it, and I think we got it in under 2 hours with 3 players. And it just reminded me, I actually have not played, this is kind of sad, I had not played Terraforming Mars in about 2 to 3 years. And so even though it's one of my all-time favorite games, it had been a while since I played. And so that's going to hit my list here, potentially, depending, again, on the next couple of weeks and what other games we get in. Number 3 all-time for me behind Brass Birmingham and Orléans.
Have you played it since we played with Lonnie that one game day?
I have. I'm going to say I've played it at least once, maybe since then. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, that's been like 5 or 6 years ago. It's been a while.
Man.
Yeah, it's been a while. So one of those games that I just know is great, and I don't feel pressured to play it just because I know. But then on the flip side of that, I know it's so good I should be playing it way more than once every 2 or 3 years. So yeah, I just got to get that back. And I love it with some of the expansions. I don't love all the expansions. The I can do without what Venus expansion. I can do without the one that has the Senate in it. I mean, that one kind of overly complicates things
really,
to me.
Base game Prelude with the draft is like, I think.
Yeah, that's where
really
it's at. It doesn't drag too long, and it gives you the whole experience. I agree, Wayne. That's right on. Yeah. So that hits both of our lists. So Carlos had it at number 4. I put it at number 3. But yeah, all-time great game.
Yeah, I remember that month of Terraforming Mars because I introduced it to my wife. So I said, hey, play with me because I want to get the rules down pat again, kind of get it going. And the next day, she's like, we're going to play again, right? you know it's 11 o'clock at night. Like, so here it is. It's damn near 1 a.m, and we're still playing.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, it's getting to midnight. I'm like, let's we can put it up and kind of start again tomorrow. No, we're finishing tonight.
That's a great game.
I think we played it 3 times that week alone. Rob,
Wow.
you were a couple plays with me.
We played twice that week.
I think we played at least once that week.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me, like, man, it's a solid game.
It is.
Good placement. Good job, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We updated our list. We did it. We're not done. We still
we
have
a couple of weeks.
15 days left in the month.
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks. Yeah.
So I know that we'll have to do another one when the new year comes around to do
Yep.
our final update, to give the final glimpse of what our list looks like, and we can update the pictures. This looks like a show right here,
Yeah,
Rob. I don't know. This looks like a podcast.
We said if we had time, we were going to go through and talk about the games we pulled
Yeah, we
off
could
in the
do
last
that.
year. Just
Let's
real
do
quick,
it.
I just was counting them. There's about 60 there that we have pulled off since the start of the year between the 2
I've
of us.
pulled off at least 20 or 30 myself. So
Yeah. So
maybe that's
that-
we could. Mike and I have been talking about restarting the podcast. Maybe we could do a little episode
Yeah.
and talk about that.
Was
I
that
think
on the audio podcast.
Yeah, I think an audio one. This is a good plug too, is for the Discord, because we have a whole channel in Discord for top 20s where all of the members of the Beat and Dice crew have posted their top 20s. I even did a separate top 20 of top 20 games I play with my kid, so kids games. So
Oh, cool.
People are posting all kinds of top 20s in there. So definitely want to check that out.
Like I said, we'll have to get together a top 10 2-player games. I think that's another good topic because there's a lot of good 2-player games out there.
Yeah, it hurts that those 2-player games. Like Undaunted is truly a 2-player game.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I have some on mine, which is 2-player only.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's good enough to be on the list, but there's so many other 2-player games that deserve mentioning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This is my first dive into the idea of creating a list of anything.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I've ever done that, ever ranked my games like that.
it's been fun though.
Refine and formalize the rules for 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Something.
Yeah, we'll post something up as we get to that.
Because I'm not going to put everything I play up there. I think last year, at the beginning of this year,
Yeah,
2023,
we were just trying to get 20 on the
anything I played, I threw it on the list.
That's top 20, right?
Not,
And that's some of those games that are like, how did that make it on my list? That's how they
Right.
got on my list, too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that again. If I don't see this game sticking around, it's not sticking
Well,
around.
or maybe wait till
So
you
yeah,
play 30 or 40
wait till,
games and then do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
Wait till like March to start doing it, maybe.
I was gonna say yeah, February or March. Maybe just wait until February or March where you play, like I say, if
Throw
you
'em on the
play
board.
30 or 40 games, and yeah, that way you can have some that just doesn't put everything up there.
How do we do what I said? We create a 7-foot tall
Yeah,
spire
yeah,
and put all the games.
everything on there.
It takes
And
a
every
whole
time we gotta
show for
move-
you guys to move stuff down.
Exactly. Yeah, we got to bump one. It takes 15 minutes to slide
move it.
everything
All right.
down.
We'll need somebody with height.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, that'll do it.
Another show.
Gets us to the end of another show. This is the first episode after the 3-year anniversary.
Nice.
So that's a full 3 years of taking phone calls. Now, we were doing this a little bit longer as just us talking out to y'all. This is, I'm just talking specifically about the call-in aspect. It's 3 years. So thank you for being there with me, fellas. A shout out to our buddy Will.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Dan. Shout out to Nick. Lots of folks have
Over the
been
years,
consistent guest hosts on this show. We've had a lot of folks. I remember at one point we had a couch in here.
Oh, yeah.
We had people
you did have a
couch
couch,
was short-lived.
I remember the one episode with Nick when you're like face to face with Nick,
with
across
the barrel.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
across the barrel.
We did
Lots of
Yahtzee.
iterations.
Yeah, we did Yahtzee, but that wasn't the call-in show. We did the
The
Yahtzee-
chit-chat.
The chit-chat.
Yeah, we did that. So thank you, folks, for sticking around and all the changes. As always, post your feedback.
Yeah, got to bring back the hot ramen.
Oh,
Ramen
no.
challenge.
Never doing that again.
People love that, though. We met several people through that.
Yep.
Yeah, Ben
Sure.
and, yeah,
True.
All right, that's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else for y'all. What y'all got?
that's it.
Just make sure you come out Saturday if you're in the Tampa Bay area. Armada
Thank
Games.
you, Wayne.
Yep. Join us at Armada.
I think Rob and I have a date to go get some Taco Bell after this.
Oh, possibly. Yeah. And if you aren't already part of the Discord, we've mentioned it several times. Get in on the Beans and Dice Discord. How do they get into that, Wayne?
Should be a link in the
there should be a
description.
link. Yep, right in
Okay.
right into our YouTube channel. There should be a link to it. Yeah.
There's something called the Internet, Robert.
There we go. Oh,
And-
well, yeah. The World Wide Web. I've heard of this.
I've used
www.
Googles before.
The Googles and the face, my face and the face thing.
MySpace.
My space. Yeah. Okay.
Well, folks, thank you all for your continued participation and prayers for us. Please let those continue. We need them. We pray that God blesses you and your families as well. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Wayne.
We're the Beans and Dice Podcast.
Podcast about how
We
we
game.
game.
Thanks for watching the Beans and Dice podcast.
Shut that
Don't
cat
forget
up.
to like and subscribe.
Come on, Mike.
There it is. There's Mike's cat.